Cass, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Up, down, and sideways. I told you sideways for a while now. I'd say sideways still. I mean, the market is moving up and down, but it's mostly sideways. JP, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? Evening. So for now, sideways and up a little bit, but sideways in general. Carl, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Dr. Miles and CMF family. Let's go. How you doing, Funky brother? Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Adi, good to see you. How you doing? Thanks for getting back to me, Miles. Much appreciated. No problem, JP. Anytime, brother. So, by the time everyone tunes in one by one, we'll go through the gist of what we're going to go through on tonight's live show. And then we'll do the intro, disclaimer, and by that time everyone's tuned in for the first spot. So, what's up, Miles, and what's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you. How you doing, brother? Solomon, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? What's up with Joey Badass? He's not going to run anymore. Joe Biden? Apparently, Joe Biden, yeah, he's not going to run anymore. Stormy posted a video inside the Telegram. I had a glance into it. I didn't get to listen to what the video was. But apparently so. And the thing is, we had a debate coming up with Trump, essentially, debating with Biden, who's going to come up. But I'm guessing he backed out before the debate even comes through. I've changed your name from professor to doctor, as we all need a life serve to get some energy. Fair point. Okay. So, on tonight's live show, we are going to go through a mixture of topics. We're going to be talking about Binance in the first part of the live show, regarding Binance and their own stablecoin, and how they're pushing out USDT essentially slowly as well. Even Binance is trying to move away from USDT. Then we're going to be talking about the German government and how they're moving around Bitcoin from wallet to wallet. And then we're going to talk about essentially El Salvador. When I essentially announced the news that El Salvador is going to be creating this Bitcoin bank, this major movement they're doing, we have an update of how far it's gotten so far and some perspectives on the matter as well from Kathy Woods. We're also going to be talking about the US national debt. It has just reached a new high milestone, pretty much. We're also going to be talking about AI on tonight's live show as well. We're going to be talking about Paraguay on tonight's live show as well. We're going to be talking about also regarding Pantera Capital on tonight's live show as well, regarding AI movements and their new AI essentially investment of $1 billion. We're also going to be talking about Kraken Exchange on tonight's live show as well. Kraken Exchange has apparently became compromised, but it's an interesting way of how Kraken became compromised. We're going to be talking about tonight's live show also about essentially institutional investors are eyeing blockchain tokenized commercial real estate. Now, this is coming from a perspective of a CEO, essentially, or a co-lead at KPMG Canada. So Canada's perspective basically on tokenization of real estate on commercial properties is what's happening right now. We're also going to be talking about the Frankfurt Exchange, how they're welcoming the first ever HBAR ETP is going to be happening in Frankfurt. We're going to be talking about tonight's live show also about Iran. Recently, I've talked about Italy, how 17 banks in Italy have pretty much concluded their CBDC testings. I talked about South Korea. They've concluded their testings in some sort of a way. Hong Kong and China have concluded pretty much all their testings as well. Iran is pretty much next to be launching a CBDC. I'll tell you the date when we get to the news, but the date is very close regarding Iran launching a CBDC. We're also going to be talking about Ripple's CLO, essentially perspective on the Ethereum situation. So regarding the SEC coming out essentially and saying that they've done a U-turn completely on Ethereum, we're going to get a perspective from Ripple's CLO on that matter. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live show regarding the International Monetary Fund and the new survey that's just been done with them. We're going to be talking about tonight's live show also about the major cryptocurrency step from the National Bank of Australia. The National Bank of Australia is moving heavily into this whole blockchain sector, And they're also involved with a particular crypto project. I think everybody can guess what that particular crypto project is going to be. But when we get to that news, I'll reveal which one's going to be. We're also going to be talking about Circle's perspective. The Circle CEO says that stablecoins will hit 10% of the global currency by 2025. We're going to go through that on tonight's live show as well. We're going to be talking about Terraform Labs and political movements on tonight's live show as well. And we're also going to be talking about another perspective from Circle's CEO regarding market movements so far on what's exactly happened in terms of corporates. So, quite a mixture of news, CEO perspectives to go through, market movements to go through, CBDC news to go through, International Monetary Fund news to go through, Binance news to go through, Kraken news to go through, compromisation news to go through, AI news to go through, quite a lot of news to go through on tonight's live show. Mixture of news to go through. But before we go through any of that, welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this is the CMF Live Show where I share you the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, and regulations. Essentially, everything that plays into a vital role for a digital world starting 2024. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And we do Q&As as well, live Q&As inside the comment section, where you ask the questions, I give you the answers. If you're wondering who am I to be giving people answers, I have a background in business, finance, tech, law, and cybersecurity. I also own a blockchain company, start a blockchain company, and also quite a lot of executives from board members and so on around me as well. So, welcome to the CMF Live Show. If you are new and you're watching us for the first time ever, this is episode 92. So that means 92 days back to back. I've been doing this live show right now. And if you're a regular, let's go CMF. But before we go through the first news, which is regarding Binance and their own version of a stablecoin, we're going to go through the comment section first. So, where was I? Let's see. I was here. Brian, good to see you. Well, how you doing? How you been? I made it on time today. Let's go, Brian. Good evening, everyone in the CMF. John, good to see you. Well, how you doing? How you been? Miles, I heard about HBAR's ETP approved. Yep. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Freedom Forever. Good to see you. Well, how you doing? Has the US reached 40 trillion yet? They're pretty much there, nearly. Evening, Miles and CMF. Joe, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? George, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Semper, evening. Good to see you. What up, Miles and CMF? Ray, good to see you, brother. How you doing? SEC are closing all investigations on Ethereum as a security, not a security. Yes, that's true. Dr. Miles, I've been reading a lot, reading today. Yes, it is true. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Morning, Shelly. Regarding Ethereum and the SEC, it is true. Yes, they have essentially dropped pretty much the whole consensus situation, which just shows what kind of political power Ethereum has. And regarding political power and cryptocurrencies, we're going to go through an interesting topic on tonight's live show as well regarding political power and crypto projects. But when we get to that news, but yes, I'm also going to be sharing a perspective from Ripple CLO on that matter of Ethereum not being a security, and how the SEC is essentially dropping all types of investigations, except the Ripple investigation, ironically. Jason, good to see you. How you doing? But this is signs of weakness from the SEC, to be fair. I'm up to date today, but still nice to hear it from you. Let's go, funky brother. Well, hopefully I'll share you some news that you haven't heard today either. Hello, Marcus and CMF. Comatose, good to see you. How you doing? Happy Pisces, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hello, Miles and CMF. Money, good to see you. How you doing? Thank you, Miles and CMF, for the help earlier. Jason, no problem, anytime. So, the first news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding FDUSD, which is Binance's essentially stablecoin replacement for the BUSD that closed down a very long time ago. Now, it seems like Binance might be also trying to push out USDT as well and trying to bring some more, essentially, momentum coming into their own stablecoin. So, FDUSD. Trading dominance persists despite Binance ending the zero-fee promotion. So Binance, essentially alongside Hong Kong, launched FDUSD. Now Binance might claim it's not their stablecoin, but it seems like it. And when they launched this stablecoin, they said zero fees, everybody get involved, essentially, to grow the momentum of the stablecoin. So, at the end of April, Binance made yet another change to its spot fee tiering. Binance notably ended its zero fee trading promotion for several pairs of their own stablecoin. We've talked about Binance and FDUSD in the past, as Binance seemed to relist the stablecoin in an attempt to replace their BUSD after they got shut down. To drum up excitement for the stablecoin, which had previously delisted in favor of its own stablecoin, the pairs with FDUSD as their quote asset were initially listed with favorable fee rates. Most notably, BTC/FDUSD was free to trade. So the way that Binance was trying to create momentum for FDUSD was zero fees. You can, use it as a pair against BTC or Ethereum or pretty much the majority of cryptocurrencies and not pay any fees if you use Binance's stablecoin. After the taker fees were put back essentially on the BTC TUSD pair, it made BTC FDUSD the only free way to trade Bitcoin on the world's largest crypto exchange. This helped propel relatively the small stablecoin into the spotlight. It seems as though in December, Binance made a number of major FDUSD pairs also free to trade as a part of their broader promotion. FDUSD continues to gain promise on the exchange, with pairs of stablecoins accounting for over 35% of spot volume on the exchange in April, outpacing the peaks of TUSD, which was Binance's previous attempts to the successor of BUSD. While in December 2022, BUSD pairs were up 39% of the volume on the exchange, FDUSD was proving to be a suitable competitor, managing the amass to dominance in a much more shorter time. However, on April 25th, Binance ended the zero fee FDUSD trading promotion, both for Bitcoin and the pairs made free to trade. In December, there is still a zero fee promotion on all pairs, but a similar promotion still exists on TUSD. FDUSD's dominance has been weighing in since the end of the promotion, but remains quite prominent on the pace to make up 33.55% of the spot trading so far in June. The popularity of BTC/FDUSD does not seem to be dissenting, though. The pair did essentially $4.5 billion of volume in the past 24 hours. FDUSD, which is Binance's stablecoin, which is essentially a competitor to USDT as well, has just done in the last 24 hours about $4.5 billion of volume as a stablecoin, compared to its BTC USDT that did $2.5 billion. USDT, which is essentially the number one stablecoin pretty much in the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, the number one stablecoin is USDT in terms of volume. USDT did $2.5 billion on Binance Exchange in terms of volume. FDUSD, which is Binance's stablecoin, did about $4.5 billion in terms of volume. Yet the other spot assets, the USDT and USDT pairs, still the rest of them dominate except the Bitcoin one. It is still slightly more favorable to trade many using FDUSD pairs due to the no maker fee, but it's not a strong draw. USDT is the larger and more well-known stablecoin, which has allowed it to remain favored even without the incentives. USDT pairs might eventually face pressure in the EU on the exchanges as it looks to comply with the MiCA regulations. Although it's unclear how much Binance's volumes come from the European bloc, regardless, it seems that the end of the free trading didn't impact the FDUSD all that much. So Binance essentially launched their own FDUSD stablecoin a very long time ago, and it did give out so many promotions, free trading, so on and so on, to build momentum for that stablecoin. It worked out pretty incredibly well. There's a weird comment inside the comment section. What does it say, crypto? Okay. I mean, that is an incredibly weird comment to put. I think personally, this person inside the comment section, Panda Post, I'm not going to read his comment. If you want to read his comment, you can read it to yourself. And I can't delete his comment either, but I blocked him so he can't post anymore. Panda Post, I'm guessing, is the type of person that was inside the crypto space. He got scammed from some people inside the crypto space. And instead of blaming himself for getting scammed, he started blaming the crypto space. A lot of people do this. The issue is with today's society is nobody wants to take responsibility for their own actions. If you get scammed in any sort of crypto space, that's on you. If you get scammed in life in general, that's on you for being gullible. So blaming an entire ecosystem for your own, mistakes is pathetic, to be fairly honest. If I do something wrong in life, if I, I get scammed or so on and so on, I don't blame the scammer for scamming me. I blame myself for being so gullible to fall for the scam. So this person, I'm guessing Panda Post, you probably have some, you've most likely been scammed inside the crypto space by some random scammers, and now you're hating on the entire ecosystem. But, I wish you the best, brother, or lady. I don't know if you're a male or female. These days, there's too many categories, but wish you the best, and I hope you get to realize that it's not the ecosystem that's the problem, it's you. If you're gullible to get scammed, then you're gullible to get scammed. You can't blame the ecosystem or the scammer. It's just life. If I get scammed, I'm not going to blame the scammer for scamming me. I'm going to blame myself. How the F did I fall for his scam is what I'm going to say to myself. But yeah, in today's society, nobody takes responsibility for their own actions. People rather just point fingers and say, it's your fault, this happened to me. Nope, it's my fault if that happens to me, not the other person's fault. Lena, good evening, Miles. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Just to say hi, I usually watch the reply because a bit late for me. Thank you, Miles. Love 3669, no problem. Good to see you. How you doing? I really wish we could delete those comments, Miles. Yep. Sorry, I missed that. I was on the other screen working. No problem, Shelly. Block this moron. Yep, already blocked him. Hi, Miles and family. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Ain't that the truth? Lol. Yep. I couldn't block him when I seen it. Can't blame guns. Exactly. Do your own research. It's a well-known age. Yep, exactly. Him, her, they, them. Yeah, there's too many categories these days. But now, so going back to essentially what I was saying before that weird comment came about. Jesus. I think it's because I'm on X. Yes, you're on X. That's why you couldn't see the comment. We don't need morons, as we are all one big happy family who help each other. Facts. On this live show, especially CMF. Always. Apologies about that. But yeah, always. Now, Binance, it seems like they're pushing out USDT as well. They're trying to make their own their own stablecoin, FTUSD, more favorable. Because in terms of volume, FTUSD is bringing a lot more volume than USDT, just on Bitcoin for time being. But that's still impressive for Binance's FTUSD stablecoin to be bringing about $4.2 billion, where USDT was bringing about $2.5 billion, not 4.2 like the other one. So that's quite impressive. And also, Binance might be trying to do this because of the MiCA regulations. So at the end of this month, the EU is going to be implementing the MiCA regulations. It's the start of the EU implementing regulations moving forward. Starting this month, it's going to be the start of the entire EU bringing out regulations as we move forward. And obviously, USDT is not going to be used in the EU. That's already been very clear. So is Binance trying to push their own stablecoin, FTUSD, onto the EU market space? Well, I think it's a good, it's good if they're doing that for themselves. Honestly, it's great for Binance if they're doing that. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is the German government. The German government is moving around quite a lot of Bitcoin from wallet to wallet to wallet. Now, how do we know that this is the German government's wallet, their Bitcoin wallet? Well, there's essentially a crypto platform by the name of Arkham. Now, Arkham is incredibly intelligent of finding out whose wallet belongs to who. And Arkham actually has, apparently, former members of the CIA, NSA, and FBI working in Arkham. And they're very quick on finding out which wallet belongs to who. And they've recently revealed that the German government is transferring about $425 million back to back into different wallets, which is quite a lot of Bitcoin for them to be moving out. And Arkham also knows where they got the money from, the Bitcoin from as well. Hi, Miles. SEC giving free pass again. Yep, to Furin by the looks of it. Now, the German government transferred $425 million of Bitcoin. Will it sell? Question mark. The renowned CEO responds. According to data from Arkham, in a significant move today, a German government agency transferred $425 million worth of Bitcoin to another wallet address. The transaction involved sending some of the Bitcoin to a crypto exchange deposit wallet and returning some to the original wallet. The wallet address, which Arkham had previously identified as belonging to the German Federal Criminal Police Office, BKA, moved about 6,500 Bitcoin to the address and then back to itself. Transaction data reveals that some $32 million worth of Bitcoin was deposited on a crypto exchange, Kraken, and a similar amount on Bitstamp. Arkham's CEO reported via Telegram that the organization has moved $130 million worth of Bitcoin into a service wallet, which typically indicates intent to sell in the near future. BKA seized approximately, so the German government essentially seized about 50,000 Bitcoin, worth over $2 billion at a time, from the operators of a movie company. Do you know one of these websites that people used to use a very long time ago? These movie websites that people go and watch free movies. So one movie website by the name of movie2k.2 was essentially apprehended by the German government, and they were using Bitcoin for fees. So the German government got access essentially to their wallets and so on, and about $2 billion worth of BTC was transferred to the German government. And the German government has had this for a while now. And this happened in mid-January when they seized the wallets. And since mid-January until now, no movements have been happening. But fast forward to today, there's movement happening on the wallets. Some were being sent to exchanges, some were being sent to different wallets, and so on. So the question remains, is the German government going to be selling off their Bitcoin? Are they going, is that their next movement? Possibility. However, they can also just send it back to their wallets. I've said this before. Sometimes it's also psychological as well. You see, those types of wallets know that they're being tracked. Normally, heavy wallets know that they're being tracked by Watcher Whale or Arkham and so on and so on. They know they're being tracked. So sometimes heavy wallets will transfer a certain amount of cryptocurrencies to a crypto exchange. And they know that these, X pages and Twitter pages and so on, they will tweet out saying, this amount of Bitcoin has been moved to this exchange, that amount of Bitcoin has been moved to, and so on and so on, because they know their wallets are being tracked. And they don't even have to sell. They just move that money into an exchange, essentially. People will assume they're going to sell. People will sell before them, which will cause a sort of a panic movement sometimes, which is the psychological situation about it. And then they'll just move it back and buy out everybody else. So sometimes they don't even need to sell. They know that their wallets are being tracked. They just move it to an exchange, and then you get a tweet. This amount of Bitcoin has been moved to an exchange. It's going to sell and so on and so on. Panic starts. People start to sell, and they will just buy everyone back up and send their money back to their wallets. They don't even need to sell because people assume the moment it goes to an exchange, it's going to sell. Sometimes it doesn't. It just stays on the exchange. But it creates that panic and fear for some people. Now, because that's the psychological part of trading. Crazy that they could actually keep that. I understand they took it off bad people. Yes, they did, definitely. German authorities do not want BTC anymore. Good evening, Miles of CMF Talk. Good to see you. How you doing? Hi, Miles. Do they have an X profile I can follow, Miles? Does who? Does who have an X profile that you can follow? Which one? Are you talking about regarding the pages of following people's wallets? Yes, they do. I'll send you the links if that's what you're referring to. ETH didn't pump to the news. Why? The reason why ETH didn't pump to the news, because it is good news, but ETH wants to pump on the news essentially of the ETF space is what it's going to be pumping on, which is not that far off. And according to Eric, who's been quite correct on the market movement so far, Eric, which is the Bloomberg ETF specialist analyst, July 2nd or July 4th is when they're estimating the ETF to be approved for Ethereum. Not only that, but also Bitwise's CIO said, he agrees with Eric. It's going to be around July 2nd or July 4th for Ethereum ETF. Then we'll see Ethereum start to move. Also, the altcoins moving with it. It seems that they will dump on that market, and the markets will be very volatile. That's if they do. Sometimes it's psychological. Crazy that they can do that. Yep. Due to the tax purposes. Yes. Maybe it's due to the tax purposes, but it's the German government. They don't really pay tax to themselves. Yes. Okay, Shelly, I'll send you those links. No problem. 2nd of July. So tell me this: if the government takes a lot of did they keep that? Lol. Yes, they keep everything. I'll be honest. They keep it all in a storage locker. Now, on this live show, I revealed to everyone regarding El Salvador creating a Bitcoin bank, which is, revolutionary in terms of an actual Bitcoin bank that's been set up by the El Salvador government. They're backing this whole idea. Now, some updates on that matter. So, the Bitcoin bank vaults El Salvador's crypto dream. Can it weather the storm? El Salvador, a small nation in Central America, is making a colossal wager on the future of cryptocurrencies. The president of El Salvador is spearheading a series of audacious initiatives designed to transform El Salvador into a Bitcoin paradise, attracting billions in foreign investments and propelling the country towards an economic prosperity. But will this bold gamble pay off, or is El Salvador diving headfirst into volatile digital Eldorado? The president of El Salvador's centerpiece is a proposed Bitcoin bank, a revolutionary financial institution aimed at luring foreign investors with the allure of fractionless Bitcoin investments. Unlike traditional banks, the Bitcoin bank promises to eliminate the bureaucratic hurdles and restrictions that often deter international investors. This, coupled with the ability to hold Bitcoin collateral with the risk associated with counterparts, third party intermediaries, paints an enticing picture for investors seeking exposure to the digital gold rush. Prominents like Orca Invest, Kathy Woods has given her perspectives on El Salvador creating essentially a Bitcoin bank. And essentially, Kathy Woods believes this strategy could propel El Salvador's GDP tenfold within a mere 5 years. El Salvador isn't just luring in investors with shiny new banks, it's also rolling out the red carpet for tech giants as well by slashing taxes on technology businesses, mirroring Dubai's successful strategy. El Salvador is trying to, go on the footsteps of Dubai. Essentially, Dubai being so lenient on taxes is what El Salvador is trying to do. So by slashing taxes on technology businesses, mirroring Dubai's successful strategy, El Salvador has managed to snag a massive Google headquarters for its capital in San Salvador. This coup is estimated to inject a staggering $3.4 trillion into the economy annually. The tech boom doesn't stop there. El Salvador is capitalizing on its geophysical riches, is embarking on the ambitious volcano energy project, aiming to become a global leader in eco-friendly Bitcoin minings by harnessing the power of its fiery volcanoes. Now, beyond the hype, volatility, and sustainability and public adoption, while El Salvador's Bitcoin gambit is undeniable, there are storm clouds on the horizon. Bitcoin's infamous price fluctuations pose a significant risk to economy stability. A sudden plunge in value of Bitcoin could cripple the nation's newfound financial house of cards. Additionally, Bitcoin mining's notorious energy consumption raises environmental concerns. Can El Salvador truly become a leader in green Bitcoin mining with the Volcano Energy Project, or is this a facade masking an environmentally reckless pursuit? Furthermore, widespread public adoption of Bitcoin as a legal tender within El Salvador remains sluggish. Without Salvadorians fully embracing Bitcoin, the success of the president of El Salvador's grand plan hinges on the whims of foreign investors, a precious situation at best. So, El Salvador's big dream of a Bitcoin bank, is it going to work out for them? In my perspective, it could work out for them. El Salvador, this could be their best investment ever. Not only that, but they're going inside a tech world as well. El Salvador's going inside a tech world. I mean, Google is setting up a massive headquarters in El Salvador, in this, in their capital essentially. Google's investing about billions to trillions into El Salvador as well. They open up a Bitcoin bank. El Salvador's trying to become the next Dubai in Latin America. Imagine that one. Okay, El Salvador is trying to become the Dubai of Latin America. They're comparing themselves to, the United Arab Emirates in terms of how they moved forward and built their entire country, in terms of tax situations and so on, being a bit more lenient, opening their doors to foreign companies and so on. So if you're thinking about your next investment, maybe look into El Salvador as well. Because if they're planning on to become the Dubai of Latin America, then that's amazing, honestly. Property prices and so on will skyrocket in that place over the years, obviously not over time. I mean, not overnight, over time. But yeah, I wish them the best. So far, El Salvador has done great movements for his country. The president of El Salvador, he's done great movements for El Salvador in general. So I wish him the best, and I hope that the bank idea works for him and everything else. Now, It's also good for the people that live in El Salvador as well. Their wages will go up eventually as well. So it's going to be better for the economy in general for El Salvador. Now, the US national debt reaches an all-time high of 34.75 trillion dollars. The US national debt has just skyrocketed ridiculously. And I'll tell you how ridiculous the US national debt skyrocketed within a certain time frame. But before I tell you that, let's start the comment section first. I just read that comment again. I was able to get a screen grab of it. It's so weird that the wording he used is like a bot that did it. It's great that they're having that kind of version, and good for them. Yeah, honestly, it's very good for El Salvador. Now, the US national debt reaches an all-time high of $34.75 trillion. Just now, the national debt of the United States of America reached an all-time new high. The new numbers from the United States Treasury debt to the penny database indicate that the nation's outstanding debt increased by $69.41 billion in a single day. In one day, the national debt of the US increased by $69.41 billion. How do you increase a national debt by $69 billion in one day? Which is the new milestone that has been reached during this period. The entire amount of outstanding public debt in the United States is expected to reach $50.7 trillion, $50.7 trillion by the end of the year. By the end of the year 2034, the way it's moving out. As stated in a report that was just released by the Congress Budget Office. According to the projections, the national debt will reach 109% of the GDP in the year of 2028, which is higher percentage than it has ever been in any other time in the nation's history. At the end of the forecast period, the debt would be equivalent to 122% of the GDP, which is approximately 25 percentage points higher than it was at the end of 2023. And the 2.5 times its average percentage over the proceedings of 50 years. This would be seen as a continuation of the trend of debt accumulation over the remainder of the projection period. In just 4 months, the agency stated that it anticipated the debt to reach $48.3 trillion by 2034, which is equivalent to 116% of GDP. The current forecasts are much higher than those were made just 4 months ago. According to the projections made by the CBO, the rate of inflation will decrease for the balance of this year and for the following year. The rate of inflation increased during the first quarter of 2024 after having essentially decreased since the latter of 2022. The Congressional Budget Office CBO forecast the inflation will decrease the remainder of 2024 and 2025, achieving the target of 2% set by the Federal Reserve by 2026, and then stabilizing after that. It is anticipated that the Federal Reserve will initiate a reduction in the federal funds rate sometime in the early years of 2025 as a response to a substantial decline in inflation. So, the US essentially grew quite ridiculously. About $69 billion in just 24 hours was added to the national debt. I think Joe Biden is either printing more money for himself or sending more money to a particular country, because an increase of $69 billion added to the national debt in 24 hours is ridiculous. That is the new milestone. Now, former OpenAI executive launches the new AI firm to solve one major problem. The number one major problem for essentially, not problem as how we know it, but the problem with all these CEOs and directors coming out for AI companies. OpenAI's essentially co-founder comes out and says AI is very dangerous, but we're still moving ahead. Elon Musk says the same thing and so on. So a member of OpenAI's executives have ventured off to themselves and has decided to launch his own AI firm. Now, this is also helping to propel AI crypto projects. And before I read you that, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see where we were. That was probably the money that they sent to Ukraine, lol. The money that they recently sent to Ukraine. B, yep. 50 cents of every tax, $1 will be paying just interest owed. Yep. That's what fact what I am Rebel just said, and that's what happens when the UZ funds wars everywhere, and when the US funds wars everywhere, bails out banks and airplane and bends the lobbyists and their corrupt spendings. Yes, facts. US not UZ. Yeah. By giving the money to Ukraine to fight the Russians, then siphon the funds back to their pockets, Sleepy Joe is smart after all. By the looks of it. How can this keep happening without repercussions? It's because it's corruption. It's a crazy, crazy amount of corruption. And the people don't mind it. Ridiculously. Honestly. Because the people are distracted. People are distracted easily. People are distracted by news, random news, that comes out of nowhere. People are just, the whole, Trump situation, the majority of people forgot about it. Trump essentially going in for accusations, coming out essentially, and so on. Straight after Trump's news, what happened? To distract people even more. Straight after Trump's news, it was the guy that did the COVID vaccines. People got distracted by the guy that, said COVID vaccines, everybody has to do it and so on, which is complete BS. But, people and politicians were going against the doctor who, said everybody should get COVID vaccines and so on. And people were arguing, saying, yes, the politicians are correct. Why did they force us to get vaccines? Those politicians are not correct in any sort of way. But do you see how people get distracted so easily? I've always said this, the news is like the weather. It just keeps on changing. And people just go with the change. So the reason why, Shelley, how they can get away with this regarding printing, spending, printing, sending, is because people don't care. People are too distracted easily. People get distracted so easily by the news, random news, or by essentially celebrities, or by movies, or by TV shows, about content on social media. But people get distracted extremely quick. And that's how they can pretty much get away with everything, because nobody's asking the questions they should be asking, which is, where the hell is our money? Or why the hell are you printing so much? Or why the hell are you sending so much? And so on. Nobody's asking these questions, but everybody wants to know about the new movie that comes out, new TV show that comes out, what's on the news, because as if it matters, and so on and so on. But in general, even if you did ask those questions, it's not like you're going to get an answer anyways. It's not if the US economy implodes, it's when. Yeah. Now, also, most politicians are corrupt, so the average American is, by any of the corrupt politicians we have chosen from to elect. Yes. I've always said this, and I will always say this. When you're choosing which group to be in charge next, you're just essentially choosing the next group of people to eat from your taxpaying dollars. It's very simple. People say, in the UK, for example, we have an election going on right now in the UK as well. Not just the US. The US has an election going on. The UK has an election going on. The EU has an election going on. There's quite a lot of elections happening right now around the world. And I've pretty much just said always that it doesn't matter if you vote. So in the UK, we have the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the Reform Party, the Independent Party, the Lib Dem Party, and so on. It doesn't matter if you vote left, if you vote for the red party or the blue party or the green party or the white party or the yellow party. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Whoever's going to be chosen is going to be chosen next. But also, if you are voting, let's just say your vote counts in this scenario, you're essentially just voting for the next group of people to be abusing your taxpaying dollars. That's all you're doing. You're just choosing the next group of people that's going to have access to your taxpaying dollars. So they can feed off your taxpaying dollars, create more corruption, and then 4 years later, you choose the next group to eat from your taxpaying dollars again. Nothing changes. Every 4 years, when we go through this cycle, has the world got better? No. You're just choosing who's the next group of people to eat from your taxpaying dollars. so they can abuse your taxpaying dollars. That's all you're doing. Doesn't matter who you vote for, the blue table, the red table, the green table, the yellow table, the blue table. Doesn't matter who you vote for. You're just choosing the next group of people, of politicians, to abuse your taxpaying dollars, create more corruption, and then that's it. 4 years later, you choose someone else. Because if you think about it, has anything changed? Has the world got better from 10 years before till now? No. 20 years before till now? No. 50 years before till now? No. So does it really matter who you choose every 4 years? Now, former AI, OpenAI, is the next news we're going to go through. Former OpenAI executive has launched his new AI firm to solve one major problem, which is AI safety. Because the CEOs who are essentially co-founding these AI projects like OpenAI or Grok and Google's AI project and Meta's AI project and so on, every single one of them oddly come out and say, AI is dangerous, AI can do this, AI can take over and so on. And there was a member from OpenAI that came out of OpenAI, left OpenAI, and essentially came out and said that OpenAI is not a safe project. They don't do safety measures on their AI in any sort of a way, and so on. And he left OpenAI. And then the CEO, the co-founder of OpenAI, came out and gave a speech and said, no, we don't have any safety issues. Even if we do, we're looking into it and so on. So another member of OpenAI has just left and is now creating his own AI project. So former OpenAI executive launches a new AI firm to solve one major problem. It's not a so surprising move that this member of OpenAI, a one-time chief scientist at artificial intelligence AI company OpenAI, has announced the new path he has taken. He's going on a very interesting path. So his name is Sat Sekhar, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, wrote on X, I'm starting a new company. And he's calling it essentially the superintelligence, the safe superintelligence AI company. That name sounds a bit familiar as well. In the crypto space, we also have a crypto project coming out called Superintelligence, the Superintelligence Alliance, which is Ocean, Fetch, and Singularity. And then we have this open AI executive that's coming out and tweeting, I'm starting a new company. It's called Safe Superintelligence. According to an earlier post that he highlighted, the new company is called Safe Superintelligence, which stands for SSI. With SSI, the former OpenAI scientist is focused on building safe superintelligence, citing this goal as the most important technical problem in the world of today regarding AI. SSI is using revolutionary engineering and scientific breakthroughs to solve technical challenges that question safety and capabilities in the long run. The focus of the platform is to improve capabilities at an amazing speed while maintaining safety. While serving as an OpenAI chief scientist, he played a significant part in the ousting of Sam Altman from the company in December 2023. For several months, there were speculations about his future role in the company. Rather than providing an answer to these speculations, he decided to quit from the AI firm OpenAI, and his exit from OpenAI happened just a day ago after ChatGPT-4 model went live. His decision to launch his company comes barely a month after his resignation was made public. However, it underscores AI's miraculous rise in such a short time. His new company has pioneered the world's first straight-shoot SSI lab. SSI's mission, this is what he said, SSI is our mission, our name, and our entire product roadmap. Because it is our sole focus, our team, investors, and business models are all aligned to achieve SSI, the firm wrote on X. SSI's offices are located in Paulo and Tel Aviv cities, where it claims to have deep roots and easy access to top technical talents. The company is currently trying to navigate the hiring stage, and it says that it's assembling a lean, cracked team of top engineers and researchers. Now, because of all this AI momentum news happening, of all these AI projects coming out, AI token crypto projects to register significant gains. AI tokens are becoming a household name, as many of them looks to make their holders millionaires pretty much in the next bull run. it was still in a bull run, it's just manipulated. And with Nvidia overtaking Apple to become the world's second largest company, and now it's first, and AI tokens like Tau, Render, Near Protocol, Graph, and Fetch AI, and so on have all shown signs of significant price gain. Because of all this momentum that's happening inside of the AI space right now, AI projects, crypto projects, are moving with that momentum as well. We also have another perspective to go from tonight's live show regarding AI from a CEO's perspective on how AI is really doing. But when we get to that news, I'll share you what he said. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is from Paraguay. So on this live show yesterday, I revealed that essentially Venezuela has started to ban Bitcoin mining and so on even more, and cryptocurrencies and so on. But the Venezuelan government was still doing essentially, using USDT and cryptocurrencies. But the people of Venezuela can't use cryptocurrencies, but the Venezuelan government can. They've transferred over $1 billion in USDT so far in oil trades to avoid sanctions from the United States. Now, Paraguay is going on the same situation. They're cracking down on illegal Bitcoin minings as well with harsh penalties. We're going to go through their perspective of what's happening in Paraguay. But before we go through that, let's go to the comment section first. Also, most politicians are corrupt, so the average American is screwed yet by any of the corrupt politicians we have chosen to elect, pretty much. Hi everyone, Ripple, good to see you. How you doing? We've had 3 PMs in the UK in 3 years, and the only MP we've been able to vote for is Matt Hancock on I'm a Celebrity, which is true. Well said, Miles. The people above control, all puppets, pretty much. Now, Paraguay. You have more intelligence than all the prime ministers. Thank you, Ripple, for the kind words. AI is pumping even because of Nvidia. Even because of that, yes, true. You sound like Sir Winston Churchill. You should be proud. Thank you, Ripple, for the kind words. Also a great man, Winston Churchill. Now, Paraguay. Paraguay endorsed a crackdown on illegal Bitcoin mining with harsh penalties. The Paraguayan Senate has recently passed a measure that imposes severe penalties on unauthorized Bitcoin mining operations. This legislation aims to address the theft of electricity for commercial or industrial purposes by increasing jail times up to 10 years if you're mining Bitcoin, for those caught mining Bitcoin without proper permissions. By proper permissions, they mean tax, if you're not paying your taxes. Furthermore, the law mandates the confiscation, essentially, and forfeit of ASIC mining equipments involved in such activities. The modifications was made to the Article 173 of the Paraguay Penal Code and essentially was implemented by the government, presented by Senator Ever. The proposal received substantial support in the Senate, passing with 29 votes in favor and 7 against it. This legislative action targets operators who illegally tap into electricity grids. As mentioned, according to the senator, the amendment does not seek to criminalize the cryptocurrency mining industry, but rather to regulate the misuse of electrical power, highlighted the significant financial gains made from such illegal connections, stressing the necessities of controlling this abuse to protect the nation's electrical, essentially, infrastructure. Do you know what's interesting? Paraguay has basically just said that we have, electric problems. Paraguay came out and said we have electrical problems, so we're doing this to crack down so we don't have, electrical issues with Bitcoin minings. And you're getting up to 10 years in prison if you don't comply. But if you pay your taxes on your Bitcoin minings, then all of a sudden there's no electrical problems in Paraguay. The only thing that can speak many languages is money. Money is the only thing you don't need a translator for. Money speaks millions of different types of languages. And apparently money creates electricity, because Paraguay's government has just made a statement that we have major electrical problems in this country and we can't be doing Bitcoin minings. However, if you pay your Bitcoin taxes, then somehow we don't have electrical problems anymore. He indicated that the crypto mining activities should not be criminalized and explained that, on the contrary, the aim is to control the irregular use for taxes. The bill now moves to Paraguay's Chamber of Deputies. If approved, it will proceed to the president for the signing into law or veto. This move by Paraguay's Senate is a part of the broader effort to curb the unauthorized and fraudulent activities associated with Bitcoin mining, which has been growing concern due to the considerable strain it places on the country's power supply. In addition to this bill, there are currently 4 other legislators proposals in Paraguay, Congress related to Bitcoin minings, already covered. These include a proposal that advocates for a complete ban on the activity within the country. This legislative effort indicates a shift towards a stricter regulation of digital mining practices in Paraguay, aiming to safeguard essential public utilities and promote responsible use of resources in the burgeoning field of cryptocurrencies. So, if the president doesn't agree with this legislation, then the next move is just to ban Bitcoin mining. Most likely, the president will agree to the tax money. The Paraguay president will 1,000,000% agree to tax money being paid on Bitcoin mining. Because as we all know, as I've said, just about 5 seconds ago, money is the only thing that doesn't need translated for. Somehow money will create electricity. Paraguay is having electric problems, but if you pay your taxes, no more electric problems in the country. And it's not like they're going to be using that money to invest into their electrical infrastructure. The Paraguay government will just take that money for themselves. They're not going to reinvest that to infrastructure of, to build more electric rigs and so on. But not a part of corruption, essentially. Hello, Miles of CMF. Long time no see. Bull XRP. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? So, Pandora Capital expands investment strategy to AI is the next news we're going to go from tonight's live show. Pandora Capital, a leading crypto-focused investment management firm, is set to invest $1 billion into artificial intelligence initiatives, marking a significant shift in its investment strategy, according to Cosmos, portfolio manager of Pandora Capital. An AI integration with blockchain technology is inevitable, and he believes that every crypto company will eventually transform into some sort of AI venture. So, Pandora Capital is getting ready to invest $1 billion. Now, typically, when companies come out and say they're getting ready to invest $1 billion or $500 million into AI, they're talking about actual AI companies, not AI blockchain projects. However, in this case, Pandora Capital has $1 billion ready to invest, even in blockchain technology AI projects. Everyone will venture into AI soon, Cosmos predicts. While interviewed by DL News, Cosmos predicted that in 10, 15, or 20 years, AI will be used by everyone. This move by Pandora Capital underscores the growing confidence between cryptocurrencies and AI. Similarly, Cosmos Jing emphasized that the AI and blockchain combination is also an approaching reality. His vision is of the world where AI-powered algorithms and blockchain systems collaborate to streamline processes, improve security, and generate new efficiencies. This perspective mirrors a larger pattern in the technology field, where AI is becoming more crucial in different technological industry advancements. At the end of 2025, the crypto hedge fund is expected to have invested $200 million in AI-related crypto projects throughout the rest of this decade. By supporting AI initiatives, Pandora is positioning itself to benefit from the upcoming technological advancements that will shape the future of crypto and blockchain industries. Pandora Capital invests into Toncoin, for example, the crypto project that I've talked about quite a lot. Ton, which is essentially Telegram's own blockchain, because Telegram was the one that created Ton, dropped it so they don't get sued by the SEC. Random developers, let's just say, picked the project back up. Later on, Telegram partners with the project they created, Ton, and Telegram has 900 million users. And it's now just been revealed that Pandora Capital is pretty much invested in Ton as well. Beyond AI, Pandora Capital has made its largest investment in the Layer 1 blockchain protocol Toncoin. Although the amount injected was undisclosed, Pandora Capital does not want to tell anybody how much they've invested in Toncoin. Pandora Capital's managing partner, Dan, maintained the exceptional technological capabilities of Ton is the driving factor behind the investment. So according to Pandora Capital, who's getting ready to inject another $1 billion inside the crypto sector, by investing into crypto projects that are related to AI, they saw Ton as an exceptional project as well. That's why they invested into it, but they won't tell anyone how much they invested into it. Pandora's involvements with Toncoin extends beyond financial investments. The firm is a key validator also of the Toncoin network, contributing to its governance structure and helping shaping its future. Interestingly, the role as an investor and validator emphasizes Pandora's deep commitment to the success of Toncoin project. I've always said this, Ton, amazing project. And what really does help Ton is obviously the 900 million users on Telegram. Essentially, Solana or Ethereum or AVAX or so on and so on would love to have 900 million users, but they don't. Telegram does, and Ton is their only partner. Ton will forever be Telegram's only partner because it was developed by Telegram themselves. And I've said this, people are focused on the Solana chain, people are focused on the base token right now, is all the base chain, but people should be really also focusing on Ton. 900 million users. Imagine what you could do on that chain. Now, Certic. This particular news is a bit odd because something is happening with Kraken and Certic. Now, Certic essentially is a crypto platform that helps other crypto platforms not to get compromised. But what's happened here is quite interesting. We're going to go through. Before we go through, let's set a conversation first. You mean they are not feeding the electric meter? Lol. They're not feeding the electric meter. Ton to the moon. Let's go, JP. Now, Certic. This is what's odd. So Certic apparently found a compromised situation in Kraken Exchange. So Kraken Exchange apparently had a bug in the system where anybody could have easily altered numbers in Kraken Exchange and essentially got free money from Kraken Exchange. Now, apparently Certic sent this to somebody in Kraken Exchange, and Kraken Exchange ignored it. So, and then apparently Certic decided to, the crypto platform, essentially the platform that helps to support the crypto ecosystems by finding out bugs and letting other platforms know, decided to take matters into their own action and did a $3 million heist on Kraken to maybe prove that there is a bug in Kraken's system. So here it is. Certic faces a fallout after confessing a $3 million heist from Kraken. Cryptocurrency exchange Kraken has announced that it has fallen victim to a major security flaw. This is Kraken Exchange, so quite a big crypto exchange, Kraken Exchange. So Kraken Exchange has announced that it has fallen victim to a major security flaw that has resulted in the theft of $3 million worth of digital assets. However, in a surprising turn of events, the party responsible has been identified as Certic. This blockchain security firm claims to have initially reported the bug through Kraken's bug bounty program. Now, a bug bounty program is essentially for white hat hackers. In the hacking world, there are two types of hackers. One are black hat hackers, and they just hack for their pleasure, essentially, of stealing. The white hat hackers are the ones that get paid by companies $100,000, $500,000, even $1 million sometimes to find bugs in that company before the black hat hackers find it, so that company can patch it up. So a lot of companies do this. Binance has this, type of feature for a bug bounty program and so on. So does Kraken. Every company has this type of feature going on, not just inside the crypto world, in general. So apparently, Certic, made Kraken aware through their bug bounty program that you have this bug, and they decided to, enter it. Certic is now accused of exploiting additional vulnerabilities and extorting the exchange for more money, leading to calls for legal action and concerns among crypto investors. Kraken's security flaws exposed. The incident unfolded when Kraken's chief security officer, Nick, revealed that the exchange had received a bug report on June 9th. from a self-described security researcher. The researcher claimed to have discovered an extremely critical bug that allowed them to inflate their balance on the platform artificially. Imagine inflating your balance artificially, so inputting your own balance of your crypto wallet inside a Kraken exchange. Upon further investigation, Certic, which admitted to its involvement in the incident in its social media post, uncovered several critical vulnerabilities in Kraken exchanges systems that could potentially result in losses of hundreds of millions of dollars. So apparently Kraken exchange has the worst security possible inside the crypto sector, where Certic, by doing this, they showed that, Certic only did a $3 million heist. But in words of Certic, it could be hundreds of millions of dollars that could have been artificially pumped. Certic's findings revealed shortcomings in Kraken's deposit system, indicating a failure to differentiate between internal transfers, and furthermore, Certic testing revealed that Kraken failed all of these tests, exposing the compromised state of Kraken's defense in-depth system. According to Certic, millions of dollars could be deposited into any Kraken account, and a substantial amount of fabricated cryptocurrencies worth over $1 million could be withdrawn and converted into valid digital assets. The security firm also claimed that no alerts were triggered during the multi-day test period. So while Kraken was, essentially operating as normal and alerted beforehand that you have this bug in the system, apparently Kraken didn't care that they had a bug in the system. Certic took advantage of this bug in the system to prove through their own Kraken program of bug bounty that, you do have this issue going on, that people can steal millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars from Kraken exchange. Now, and while they were stealing from Kraken, Kraken didn't realize after a few days after. Following the identification of the vulnerabilities, Certic alleges that Kraken's security operation team threatened individual Certic employees. So Kraken Exchange, afterwards realizing this situation happened, started threatening Certic employees, demanding the repayment of the mismatched amount of cryptocurrencies within an unreasonable time frame, without providing a repayment address as well. However, Kraken's CEO countered that they had requested a full accounting of the unknown company's activities and the return of the withdrawn funds. The company's CEO argued that Certic's refusal to comply with these requests violated the rules of ethical hacking and broaden of extortion. While Certic faces legal repercussions, the revelation of this incident has raised surprise and concerns within the cryptocurrency community, leading to calls for legal action against Certic. One user accused Certic of stealing the $3 million funds from Kraken, holding it ransom for a bounty. Because once you do find a bug in one of these companies, you're supposed to let them know. And then, when you do patch things up, the company will give you a certain amount, $100,000. Thank you for finding this bug in our system. $500,000, $1 million, or so on. So some people are saying maybe Certic is holding this $3 million ransom, this $3 million that they took from Kraken Exchange as a payment or a ransom for the bounty, refusing to return the funds and now transferring the money to Tornado.cash to protect its potential seizure by authorities. By the way, Certic is a company that's been protecting the crypto space for so long. So this is why this story is so odd. Coinbase's director, Connor, pointed out that Tornado Cash is subject to the Office of Foreign Assets Control in terms of sanctions, and highlighted that Certic's US hinting at a potential legal repercussions by US agencies. Market expert Adam Coren also weighed in, astonished at Certic's actions, and highlighted the firm's history of compromised audits, and went further to describe the situation as downright criminal. The next steps taken by Kraken and potential consequences for Certic are yet to be seen. However, the involvement of the US agencies and potential legal actions loom over the security firm. The unfolding developments in this case will undoubtedly shape the future of bug bounty programs and impact the relationship between crypto exchanges and security firms. Now, Certic is not the only security firm. Chainalysis is also a type of a security firm as well. But this is outright crazy. A cryptocurrency firm Certic, which is quite well known inside the crypto space, very well known, of finding bugs in Binance, finding bugs in crypto.com, finding bugs on any exchange you can think of, or any platform you can think of, or any crypto project you can think of. That's what they've been doing for the longest time, protecting people. I mean, they let Kraken Exchange know that they have a bug in their system. Kraken didn't take action. They took an action on it to prove that there is a bug in their system. And now Kraken is upset for Certic abusing their system. Well, think of the positive, is what Kraken is not thinking about. Certic did a $3 million heist, while they could have had access to a $100 million heist. So Certic did a $3 million heist. So scammers, the black hat hackers essentially, if they found out about this scenario, they could have done a $100 million scam. So, guess yourself lucky that it was Certic that found this bug and proved it to you that there is a bug in your system when you didn't want to believe it, and it was only $3 million. Heck, give the $3 million to Certic and say, well done for finding this bug in your system, because by the looks of it, Kraken Exchange failed all security testings. Honestly. I would say if if I was a CEO of Kraken Exchange and the employees below me didn't let me know that we have a major bug in the system and ignored it, and then Certic took abuse of that system and just only took $3 million while they could have took $100 million or even more, or a random hacker could have infiltrated through this system, I would let them keep the $3 million and fire the employee that was very notified of this issue and never told me. Honestly, Kraken is looking at it from a completely wrong perspective. Fire the employee in Kraken who didn't let you know that there was a bug in the system. Let Certic keep the $3 million and kiss yourself goodbye. I mean, honestly, just see yourself as lucky that it wasn't a random scammer that did this. And Certic took things into their own hands to protect your exchange from hundreds of millions of dollars. So honestly, kiss yourself good luck. Now, but yeah, an absolute wild story that's happening right now inside the crypto space. But yeah, Kraken Exchange, apparently the worst security possible. So if you are holding crypto assets on Kraken Exchange, don't. Not financial advice in any sort of way, but apparently they have the most pathetic system possible and easily hacked. Now, institutional investors eye blockchain tokenized commercial real estates. It's a topic that's happening quite a lot inside the crypto space regarding institutional investments in real estate, but this time it's about commercial real estate as well, regarding getting tokenized. Now, this is coming from the perspective of the KPMG Canada. But before we go through this, let's go start the conversation first. I can't believe you give all this valuable information free. Thank you, Miles. Ripple, thanks so much for the kind words. Yep, invest in Tom today. Let's go, Jason. You will be famous because of your honest nature and want nothing. Thanks so much, Ripple, for the kind words again. I appreciate you, Ripple. Thanks so much for the kind words. This is an epic story. You can't write this one, lol. Honestly, the Kraken Exchange story, crazy. Now, institutional investors eye blockchain tokenized commercial real estate. Institutional investors are poised to purchase blockchain tokenized shares of high-value commercial real estate once more opportunities arise, according to Kunal Bassin, the digital asset co-lead at KPMG Canada. At the Toronto Collision Conference, Bassin told Cointelegraph that tokenization has the potential to shift the ownership landscape of major commercial buildings, which traditionally have been the domain of wealthy real estate and pension fund managers. Tokenization could allow institutional investors, including family offices, to own portions of significant properties, such as Toronto's Eaton Centre and other major buildings. Tokenization of commercial real estate can actually enable that, Basin said, predicting it would become a major institutional use case in the crypto industry. However, Basin highlighted that many institutional DeFi participants prefer a more controlled environment, regulations in terms of that. The more regulations, the more institutions will get involved. It's very simple. Institutions recognize the efficiency that decentralized financial technology brings, but they want to know the participants that they are interacting with, he said, emphasizing the importance of know your client checks in this process. He cited the success of BlackRock's USD institutional digital liquidity fund, iBuild, which has reached $462.7 million in value since its launch in March, according to 21 Shares data. Despite these advances, risk remains a concern for asset management firms and banks hesitant to engage more activity in crypto space due to numerous frauds and scams. However, Basin noted that while there is frauds in every industry, recent progress is encouraging. KPMG uses blockchain analysis from Chainalysis to detect potential illicit activities tied to its clients. So Chainalysis is like Certic. It's another company that protects the crypto space. But this one's Chainalysis, not Certic. Soon, not being involved in crypto and digital assets is going to be a career risk. Imagine that one. This quote that he just said, essentially this sentence that he just said to Cointelegraph while doing an interview. He said, soon not being involved in crypto and digital assets is going to be a career risk. So he's saying some banks and some corporations are hesitant still to enter the crypto space because of frauds and so on. But he's saying soon, if those institutions don't get involved inside the crypto space in terms of digital assets and so on, their careers are going to be at a risk, which is true. If a particular company is not associated by now with some sort of blockchain company, they will not survive what's going to be happening next. Same goes for banks. Any bank that's partnered with blockchain companies, they will survive. Any banks that haven't, they won't survive for very long. Or some of them, if they are extremely wealthy, they can join the party late, but that depends on what their portfolio is. Now, if you are not offering it today, your competitors are, which is facts. And they are getting that advantage over you, which is also facts. The later they join in terms of corporates, the worse it will become for them in terms of competition. And it's something that happens inside the corporate sector quite a lot. Once one company follows through, the others will follow as well. As I've said previously, as one example, essentially is JP Morgan going towards AVAX for subnet green and tokenization purposes. Citibank pretty much went for AVAX on subnet green as well about 2 weeks after. But things like this happen quite a lot inside the crypto sector, inside the corporate sector, where one company will go towards a particular partnership, other corporates will look at it and go, this is interesting, let's see what happens. Or some will just go, let us join in too to get ahead of everybody else. Now, but that's in general good news, bullish news coming out of Canada. And it's good to see the mindset essentially changed from crypto is bad, crypto is this, crypto is that, to if you don't get involved. And he's telling corporates, and he's in the corporate sector as well, he's telling corporates and banks, if you don't get involved, you will be left behind. So typically you get people saying this inside the retail section to other retail people. If you don't get, people will say to their families and friends and co-workers, if you don't get involved in the crypto sector, you'll get left behind. But that same mindset is now being applied to CEOs and directors, where this particular co-founder is saying, if they don't get involved, they're going to get left behind. That's the mindset that the retail section has had for quite a while. So quite bullish, actually, what's happening in Canada. Now, Frankfurt Exchange welcomes the first ever H4 ETP by Valor Inc. In a historic moment for the cryptocurrency industry, Valor Inc., a subsidiary of DeFi Technologies, has teamed up with Hashgraph Association to launch the world's first Valor Hedera H4 exchange-traded product ETP. This groundbreaking product was introduced during the closing bell ceremony at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange on June 18th, drawing significant attention from investors and industry insiders alike. A new era in crypto ETPs. The introduction of H4's ETP marks a significant milestone as it is its first of its kind to provide direct exposure to Hedera cryptocurrency. Velar Inc., known for its innovative digital asset ETPs, continues to expand its global presence with its new offerings. The H4 ETP follows the recent trend of cryptocurrencies backed by ETPs, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum ETPs as well, but stands out by focusing on Hedera's unique technology and potential, simplifying access to Hedera's network. Eileen Burr, the product head at Velar, highlighted the importance of this launch. She said, "The introduction of the world's first Hedera H-bar ETP offers investors a straightforward and secure way to participate in the future of enterprise blockchain technology." She emphasized that this product simplifies the investment process, allowing investors to easily access and leverage the capabilities of Hedera's network. The strategic collaboration for Web3 investments, Stefan, the co-founder and board director of Hashgraph Association, expressed his enthusiasm for this collaboration. He said, "We are thrilled to partner with Velar to launch HBAR ETP. This aligns with our mission to attract institutional investors to the Web3 space and provide them with innovative and alternative investment opportunities." He also pointed out that the HBAR ETP is designed to enable portfolio diversification through a bankable digital asset, market impact, and investor sentiment. The announcement of HBAR's ETP had an immediate impact on the market, with the price of Hedera surging by nearly 6% following the news. This positive reaction underscores the growing interest of confidence in Hedera's technology and its potential applications. As more investors seek to diversify their portfolios of digital assets, products like HBAR ETP offer a new and compelling option. Future prospects. The launch of Velar Hedera HBAR ETP represents a significant step forward in the evolution of cryptocurrency investment products. By providing a regulated and accessible way to invest in Hedera Velar Inc. and the Hashgraph Association are paving the way for a broader adoption of blockchain technology in the financial sector. As the crypto market continues to mature, innovative products like the HBAR ETP will play a crucial role in bridging the gap between traditional finance and the emerging world of digital assets. In conclusion, the collaboration between Velar Inc. and Hedera Hashgraph Association to launch the HBAR ETP is a landmark event in the cryptocurrency space. Not only it offers new investors an avenue for their portfolio diversification, but it also highlights the growing importance of blockchain technology in the global financial landscape. So that's good to hear for Hedera, honestly. Hedera is going to do pretty well for itself, not just because there's one ETP that's going on, which is great. You know, an ETP is great for any crypto asset, but more ETPs will be applying soon and so on. But in general, it is a good project, Hedera Hashgraph. It's a long-term project. It's not an overnight type of project in sort of a way, and it has quite a lot of contracts to its name, quite a lot of licenses to its name as well. And this is a good step to see regarding Hedera. Now, on this live show, we always talk about CBDCs and how far CBDCs have come. So recently, I revealed to everyone that Italian banks, 17 Italian banks, have essentially concluded their testings on CBDCs. And now Italy is getting ready for domestic payments in terms of CBDCs, so within their own jurisdiction. I talked about Hong Kong a few nights ago as well regarding CBDCs in China and how they've concluded their testings. And China and Hong Kong are going to be doing cross-border CBDC payments. India is getting very close as well, and few other countries are following in suit in terms of Japan, Singapore, and so on. Now, the first ever country type of way, the first ever country to release CBDCs obviously was China, and then Nigeria followed in suit, and so on and so on. And then we had Paolo coming out with CBDCs, which is on Ripple's network, the XRP Ledger, and so on. Now, we have another country that's launching in CBDCs. Ironically, it's my country as well. So if you're watching this for the first time and you don't know where I'm from, I'm Persian. So that means I'm Iranian. And Iran is going into CBDCs. Now, Iran has been in CBDCs for a while now. And if you're wondering, who is Iran working with? Well, they're working with Ripple as well. And you might be shocked and think, oh, Ripple's an American company. How can Iran work with it? They all sit at the same table. If you know what that means, then you get it. All of these, presidents and prime ministers and so on and so on, they all sit at the same table. It's all one big game. Now, what I'm shocked about, not shocked about, but it's the date that they're launching it on. And how they're launching it is how it was launched in Paolo. So and also how is Iran, partnered with Ripple? Because Iran's not a part of the Bank of International Settlements. So the Bank of International Settlements, which is 63 centralized banks, including G20 countries and G7 countries, Iran's not a part of the Bank of International Settlements. So how is Iran going to get access to CBDCs? How is it partnered with Ripple? Well, it's through Russia. It's how Iran's partnered with Ripple, is because it's through Russia. Now, it's the date that they're launching it on. This is how fast Iran's moving. And I talked about Iran CBDCs last year on this live show. So Iran's CBDC, the digital rial, will be available for domestic micropayments on Kish Island from June 21st. June 21st, which is basically tomorrow. So tomorrow, Iran is going to be doing domestic CBDC payments starting tomorrow. Now, if you're wondering what is Kish Island, well, the Persian Gulf is where Kish Island is. So the Persian Gulf obviously belongs to Iran. It's the Persian Gulf. So inside the Persian Gulf, there are multiple islands. Now, the biggest island in that Persian Gulf is Kish Island, and they all belong to Iran. So Iran doesn't want to launch their CBDC in Iran first. They want to launch in Kish Island with micropayments. So starting June 21st, which is tomorrow, Iran's central bank digital currency, CBDC, the digital rial, will be accessible to banking customers and tourists on Kish Island for domestic micropayments. Kish Island, Iran's second largest island in the Persian Gulf, will serve as the initial location for its significant developments in Iran's digital currency initiative. The Central Bank of Iran, CBI, also known as Central Bank of Iran, announced this development in a recent press release, stating that it is part of its plan for the operational phase of the digital currency and its goals to modernize and streamline domestic transactions. The CBI emphasized the digital rial's role in enhancing micropayments, underscoring its importance of improving the overall payment landscape in Iran. According to the CBI, unlike other types of electronic money commonly used in the country, which require interbanking settlements through bank accounts and common payment tools such as bank cards, the digital rial allows for immediate fund transfers between the buyer and the seller without needing interbanking settlements. Payment with this method is much easier than common card payments methods while increasing the payment security. The CBI noted that the bank highlighted that the funds are sent as soon as the transfer is completed, enhancing both the efficiency and security in transactions. Since 2022, the Central Bank of Iran has been conducting limited pilot testings of its digital currency. The primary objective of these tests and the launch is to lay the foundation of essentially Iran's digital economy and address the evolving needs of this sector. The CBI stated the digital rial would bolster the resilience and stability of Iran's payment infrastructure. It aims to revive the role of electronic banknotes in small payments, enhance efficiency, introduce new payment tools, and manage risks associated with the private money. At the time, the Iranian government also reportedly declared that no digital currencies, including cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, would be allowed as a means of payments in the country. With this move, the authorities further position the digital rial as a sole digital currency for transactions within Iran. Now, why is Iran going against Bitcoin and saying we're only going to be doing CBDCs? It's because they're also following China's footsteps as well. So China was, Bitcoin mining, pro-cryptocurrencies, and then they banned Bitcoin mining, banned cryptocurrencies, and launched CBDCs. China thought to itself, why try to compete with stable coins and cryptocurrencies when we can just ban stable coins and cryptocurrencies and launch a CBDC, which is what Iran's doing. They're following the footsteps of China, and China and Iran have very close ties. Now, if Iran does this, not good for the Iranian people in any sort of way, because, I don't like personally the Iranian government. I prefer the Shah. I prefer the royal family of Iran, in other words. So if they launch this, it's going to be very difficult for the Iranian people to ever go against the Iranian government, because CBDC is ultimate control. And if the Iranian government is able to implement this in Kish Island and then grow this CBDC into Iran also, then the people of Iran, it's going to be very difficult for them to go against this government. So the people of Iran want to go against this government, it's now or never, basically. Yeah, because I've never liked them. I've never liked the government of Iran. And a lot of people don't know the truth of the government of Iran. A lot of people don't know the truth, and they want to look the other way. But the truth is, they're horrible people. I'm not going to get into details or swear at them on a live show, but they're horrible people. They're pathetic morons. I could say that, and they, torture their own people, for example, and so on. But people don't care about that. Oddly enough, all they care about is Iran backing, some countries during war. But the Iranian government, doesn't respect its own people, and the way they treat their own people in prisons, I'm not going to get into details either, is incredibly saddening. The way the Iranian government treats the Iranian people when they don't, when they want freedom. When the Iranian people want freedom, they treat them so bad, and they put them in prison. If you ask for freedom in Iran, at least in the Western countries, you get the illusion of freedom. If you ask for freedom in Iran, they put you in prison, pretty much. And they won't, torture you. It doesn't matter what age you are, if you're male or female, and people want to look the other way when it comes to Iran for that, which is odd, because people care about Iran, helping certain countries during war. And they see Iran as a championing country, the government's so proud and so. It's not. They're horrible to their own people. I'm Iranian. They're horrible to their own people. But everybody wants to look the other way because Iran is helping a certain country during war. And they're not even helping, they're profiting from the other country, but people are too dumb to realize that one too. Because, I've always preferred the Shah. When we had the Shah, we had freedom in Iran. A lot of people say the Shah was the Western puppet, and he wasn't. The reason why he wasn't is the reason why he left. And a lot of people say, well, the Shah of Iran left, so these people came. Yeah, the Shah of Iran left because he had no choice. See, the Shah of Iran was given essentially, the person that was in charge, second in charge, under the Shah of Iran, he said to the Shah of Iran, he said, the people are turning against you. To the Shah of Iran, he said at that time, about 45 years ago, 50 years ago, he said, the people of Iran are turning against you. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to, eliminate your enemies, essentially? He said that to the Shah. The Shah said, no. If the people don't want me, I will leave. The Shah of Iran. Which politician do you know that will do this? Which president do you know that will do this? He said, if the people don't want this, the person second in charge said to the Shah, the people are turning against you. They're getting brainwashed because this new regime that we have in Iran, ironically, this new government that we have in Iran for 45 years, they've been ruling. Do you know what they said to the Iranian people? They said, why should Iranians be paying free, for electricity? Electricity should be free. Gas should be free. Home should be free. Food should be free. Not one moron thought to themselves, well, how's the government going to operate? Everyone said, yeah, I want a free home. I want free food. I want free electricity. I want free gas. Everyone started getting brainwashed. And then they did something else, which I can't say on this live show. The Iranian government, the new Iranian government did something. This regime that we have, back then, there was a cinema. It was called the Shah Cinema, basically. There were people watching movies in that cinema. The regime that we have in Iran right now, they closed that cinema up, put it on fire with people inside, essentially, and then said the Shah did this. And that was the last straw for the brainwashing of the people. After telling people free homes, free electricity, free gas, free cars, free everything. Forget the Shah. We'll give you free everything. And then they burned out that cinema with people. And that was the last straw. And then the people started getting brainwashed. And the person second in charge of the Shah of Iran said, do you want me to get rid of all your enemies? And the Shah of Iran made a speech. He said, if you don't want me, I will leave. This was his speech, the Shah of Iran's speech to the Iranian public when they were protesting against him because they were brainwashed. The Shah said, if you don't want me, I will leave. But you will regret this day for the rest of your lives. He said, if I leave, the Middle East will regret this day for the rest of their lives. When he left, look at the Middle East now. When the Shah of Iran left, because when the Shah of Iran was there was peace in the Middle East. There was peace. There was no wars in the Middle East. The Shah would fly out to any Middle Eastern country and say, what's your problem? What's your problem? Let's fix it. And he'll fly back to Iran. He said to the Iranian people, he said not only to the Iranian people, he said to the Iranian people and the Middle East, if I leave, you will regret this day for the rest of your lives. And the Middle East will regret this day for the rest of their lives. And he left. Look at the Middle East now. Look at Iran now. And those free homes this Iranian government was promising people, saying, why should Iranians pay for homes, pay for rent, pay for gas, pay for food? Yeah, the free homes, nobody got, obviously. The free food. Food is 150% more expensive than it was when the Shah was in power. Gas is more expensive when the Shah was in power. Electricity is more expensive when the Shah was in power. People can't buy pistachios in Iran. The free food, the free cars, the free travels, the free electricity, the free gas they were offering, yeah, everything's about 150% more expensive. And a lot of people say, well, you should be blaming the West. So some people say, you should be blaming the West. You should blame America for this. You should blame the UK for this. I don't blame the UK. I don't blame America. I don't blame Canada. I don't blame France. Do you know who I do blame? The people of Iran for being so gullible. I don't blame the scammers. I never blame the scammers. I blame the people or myself for being gullible. The people were the issue for being so gullible. If you're presented with such ridiculous, ideologies and so on, then, I blame the people. I don't blame America for infiltrating this plan. I don't blame the UK. I don't blame Canada. I don't blame any country. I blame my own people for being so stupid to not see through the BS. That's why I blame my own people for being gullible. For actually thinking to themselves, yeah, free homes, free electricity, free gas, free food. Then how's the government supposed to operate? So yeah, that was a little history on Iran, and Iran's now launching CBDCs. Honestly, it's now or never for the Iranian people, because once that CBDC gets implemented, that's full control. But yeah, that's your history lesson on Iran. So every time, you hear and so on and so on, people say, no, that's not the reality. It is. That's actually what happened. Step by step of actually what happened. The cinema happened, the free homes and everything, that's happened as well. The Shah saying, if I leave, that happened as well. Every single thing I just said has happened. That's led up to here. I hate the Iranian government. Hate them. I prefer the Shah, the royal family, and I will always prefer the royal family of Iran over this stupid regime that we have in Iran. Now, I will always blame my people for being so moronic and gullible. Now, before we go to the next news, which is regarding Ethereum and Ripple CLO, let's go to the comment section first. I wish I didn't get involved with Coinbase Wallet. Want to scam Ether fees? Yeah, Coinbase has incredibly high fees. They all sit at the same table, or another term, very old, is strange bedfolds. Yeah. Do people know you can buy anything in America using your palm? Yes, they do. Iran CBDC, are they going to move on the XRP ledger, and will it impact the price you think? It won't impact the price because it's going to be in Quiche Island. Quiche Island doesn't have a massive population at all. But it's stopped. Persia sounds so much better. Yes, it does. Why are people so evil? Most governments are evil no matter the country, for sure, though. What's up, CMF and Miles? Bill, good to see you. How you doing? Terrible time in history. Definitely was, yes. Is this when your family left, Miles? Yes. Essentially, yes. When the government changed Iran is pretty much when we left. I love dogs, not humans right now. People always want, but they don't want to put in the work. True. Facts. And you know what angered me as well? When the Iranian Prime Minister, passed away in the helicopter accident. People were saying, "Oh, he was such a great man." The Iranian last thing just to say before we go to the Ethereum news and Ripple news, but when the Iranian Prime Minister died in a helicopter accident, people were tweeting out, "Oh, he was such a great man." He was named the butcher in Iran. He was the butcher. The Prime Minister of Iran basically was the butcher of Iran. His title was the butcher. So picture to yourself why this man was named the butcher. The Prime Minister of Iran was named the butcher, his tag name. So picture to yourself why was this man called the butcher in Iran by his own people? The things that he did to his own people. He was named the butcher. And when he passed away in a helicopter accident, people would say, "Oh, he's such a great man. We can't believe we lost him," and so on. Good riddance, we lost him. Honestly, I wish the other two helicopters went down with them. Honestly. He was named the butcher, and people are going, "Oh, he's such a what great man." Honestly. Now, Ripple CLO. Ripple CLO uncovers key grey area in SEC's U-turn on Ethereum probe. Ripple's chief legal officer, CLO, Stewart, has pointed out significant ambiguous in the SEC recent decision regarding Consensus, a major Ethereum developer. This decision raises questions about the SEC's stance on Ethereum transactions and related services like MetaMask and staking. The issue with what's happened right now regarding Ethereum, which is a good scenario. Now, Ethereum essentially somehow, looking the other way. Ethereum somehow, regarding the SEC, looking the other way on Ethereum and saying that, it's not a security and they're dropping all charges and so on. Ripple's CLO is confused because the SEC, once again, is confusing itself. Because the SEC was going against Ethereum for staking purposes in terms of MetaMask and so on. And if it's staking Ethereum, then it's a security. But now they're dropping all charges. Does that mean staking is no longer a security? Ripple CLO questions the SEC's inconsistent crypto stance. The SEC announced it would close its investigation into Ethereum 2.0, ending a probe that had generated considerable interest. The decision followed a letter from Consensus, the company behind MetaMask, requesting confirmation that the SEC's approval of Ethereum-based ETFs meant Ethereum would be considered a commodity. Ripple's CLO highlighted the SEC's decision, lack of clarity, seemingly contradicting previous assertions that digital assets and ecosystems should be classified as securities. His comments reflects a broader concern within the cryptocurrency community about the SEC's regulatory framework and its application to various blockchain technologies. In an earlier report by CoinGate, pro-XRP lawyer James Murphy stated that this inconsistency could strengthen Ripple's position in its lawsuit as well. He noted that the SEC's argument in the Coinbase hearing that the digital assets equate to securities seems undermined by its latest stance on Ethereum. This dual approach has led to criticism and calls for transparency and consistent regulatory guidelines. So what the SEC has basically done, what Gary Gensler has basically done in this particular situation of Gary Gensler and the SEC suing Coinbase, Kraken, Ripple still ongoing, and then going after Ethereum and now dropping all charges against Ethereum, is basically Gary Gensler has, the old saying, has shot himself in the foot. Is what basically Gary Gensler has just done. He's just shot himself in the foot because Gary Gensler has been going against essentially Ethereum in terms of securities and so on and so on. And then now he's saying, well, we're dropping all charges. So is Ethereum a security? Is staking a security? Because you've been arguing this in court against other platforms as well. But somehow now you're dropping all charges. Honestly, what it seems like is Gary Gensler has just shot himself in the foot because all of his arguments in court, and he's just dropped this case. Bill Morgan criticizes the SEC's unequal crypto treatment. Bill Morgan, a member of the XRP community, has criticized the SEC for what he sees as unequal treatment between Ethereum and Ripple. He pointed out that Ethereum has received favorable treatment since the Hinman speech, which declared it a non-security. Morgan argues that the treatment highlights the SEC's approach to crypto regulations. Morgan further questioned why the SEC is needed to essentially correspond with consensus if Ethereum is decentralized. Whether the token is a commodity or a security still need to be clarified and consistency applied. This sentiment is echoed by many inside the cryptocurrency industry seeking clearer regulatory standards. So this whole situation that's going on with Ethereum, people are just looking at it as going, oh, Ethereum has been dropped. That's good. The SEC dropped the Ethereum case. This is great news. But it's bigger than that. It's because it's Gary Gensler arguing that staking is securities, and then now going against his own arguments. He's battling himself. Gary Gensler is the most oddest character as humanly possible. He's been arguing on the fact, not just with essentially MetaMask sending them a Wells notice, but also arguing with BlackRock and everybody else in terms of you can't put staking in your filings for your Ethereum ETFs because that's a security. So everybody that was applying for an Ethereum ETF took out the staking part and then refiled with the SEC. But now Gary Gensler has dropped everything on the Ethereum situation. So essentially him arguing, telling people to refile, take out staking was for absolutely nothing. Because apparently staking is not a security because he dropped the charges. Honestly, what it does look like is Gary Gensler has just shot himself in the foot. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is CBDCs could advance financial conclusion. This is coming from the International Monetary Fund. The International Monetary Fund has done a study test, and we're about to go through what they've came out from the Middle East perspective in terms of what's happening over there in terms of CBDCs. International Monetary Fund, Middle East, report that next. But before we go through that, let's start the conversation first. People always want, but they want, facts. Let's go, Ripple, let's go. Maybe it was divine intervention regarding the helicopter crash. Whoever it was. Miles, you make me chuckle sometimes. Let's go, Ripple. Wait a minute. Isn't this a setup? Dropping Ethereum charges puts more light on manipulation of Ethereum. So the price did not pump, which is what somebody wants, and give more reason to get rid of Gensler. Maybe it's just a puppet. Happy Pisces, I like the way you think, Happy Pisces, because I had the same thought. I was waiting for somebody to say it. So, since 2023, I'm happy, I'm glad you said it, because since 2023, on this live show, I've said that, the way Ethereum even came about was it was funded by a Chinese firm, and then Ethereum has that political card that's doing wonders for it. As you can see, the charges were dropped going after Ethereum. And it shows you how much that political card is working for Ethereum. And this is definitely political corruption, what's going on right now. This is definitely political corruption. Let's see how this will backfire. And if it doesn't backfire, then God knows how far the political corruption has went in terms of Ethereum. If it doesn't backfire, then Ethereum's got some deep people inside their pockets, inside of politics. And on the topic of politics and crypto projects, I'm going to reveal to you another news after this one of how deep sometimes politics goes with crypto on silent mode. But before we get to that news, we still have to go through the International Monetary Fund news. Now, Gary is being told what to do, basically. All is being game. Yep, Gary is a pineapple. Perhaps Vitalik gave the Gary a bag of Ethereum to drop the case, something Brad didn't want to do with XRP, which is facts, yep. Mr. Burns meets Mr. Bean. I have a lot of time on my hands doing renovations and thinking. Well, your thinkings are leading you to the correct path. to be very honest. Your thinkings actually sometimes match up with what I'm thinking as well. Now, moving on to this news. CBDCs could advance financial conclusion. International Monetary Fund Middle East survey says. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) is a bunch of con artists who have carried out fraudulent investigations of the adoption and utilization of applications of CBDCs among 19 nations in the Middle East and Central Asia. Their report made public on Tuesday shows that the CBDC could serve as a competitive tool that will make financial conclusion possible. In this way, financial institutions remain primary cost of transferring funds from foreign to local areas in the systems that the banks have. The central bank digital currency role in advancing financial inclusion. The survey discovered that the success of CBDCs lies in the fact that they can be used by different financial companies, which in turn leads to a wide range of services offered at lower prices. One of the advantages is that the beneficiaries can choose from an array of financial services at a lower than conventional prices. That ensures more access to them. Nevertheless, the survey warned about the likelihood of only marginal benefits to be delivered if the associates' risk were not dealt with. Some obstacles may be finally emptying out electronic and financial literacies, American individualism, doubtful about banking institutions, or having a low income. Officials are proposed to use the International Monetary Fund's indications and helping them manage the potential threats to monetary stability. A further program is decided on the correct traits of CBDCs. Execution, this was emphasized. We don't have observed any clear responsible agents for the introduction of central bank digital currencies. But still, we can say that if CBDCs get launched in the countries where they have sound banking systems, good laws, and vigorous, efficient supervisory and regulatory units, then most of the risk can be excluded. Adoption stages of CBDCs in the Middle East and Central Asia. Third of the 19 countries in question are conducting their CBDC research. During this period, in the association, it is said that Bahrain, Georgia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates have moved to more advanced proof of concept stages. The Kazakhstan experiment was two-stage programs for the digital tenge as well. This is how far the Middle East has come in terms of CBDCs now. Quite far by the looks of it. The International Monetary Fund helps countries explore CBDCs. The fund previously published a step-by-step guide that focuses on the regulatory risk identification in central banks and on the digitalization of CBDCs. They used the 5P methodology consisting of 5 stages: preparation, proof of concept, prototypes, pilots, and production of digital currencies to carry out the study. The International Monetary Fund in November 2023 came out with the report on this issue, asserting that CBDCs would influence the conduct of monetary policy, the fund stated. We give a description of how the CBDCs should be developed to assist in cross-border payments and yet control the managed capital flows. The International Monetary Fund added that it would go on with the primary mission, which is the conversion with the central banks about the pros and cons of these digital currencies, on aspects of including financial stability, cybersecurity, cross-border payments. In conclusion, the International Monetary Fund investigation proved the possibilities of CBDCs in making financial inclusion accessible on mobile money transfers cheaper in the MECA. Almost every nation in this area, through addressing their main risk and capitalizing on the advantages of digital money, can enable more growth in their financial ecosystems. So, what's happening in terms of CBDCs in the Middle East? A lot of things are happening in terms of CBDCs in the Middle East. They are moving incredibly quick in the Middle East in terms of CBDCs. Step by step, I mean, all their testings, first of all, are becoming successful. And the International Monetary Fund is involved. The Bank of International Settlements is involved, essentially, so you can tell which project is chosen as the backbone. And honestly, it goes back to what I said as well regarding which project is chosen as the backbone, which is Ripple again. Because, as I said previously, there's thousands of projects. There's about 1,000 projects inside the crypto sector doing AI, 1,000 projects inside the crypto sector doing gaming, 1,000 projects doing Web3, 1,000 projects doing data, And out of 24,000 crypto projects, with all that competition going on in every category inside the crypto space, there's one project doing CBDCs, and it's Ripple. And on the Bank of International Settlements PDF document titled Cross-Border Payments, it says Ripple right next to SWIFT. Bank of International Settlements, 63 centralized banks, including G20 countries, G7 countries, which means all the BRICS nations as well, and the Middle Eastern countries, so on. So you can tell where this is going. And the Middle Eastern countries are getting very close to releasing more CBDCs as well. The same way that, Italy, even on, moving away from the Middle East, the European banks are also getting ready for releasing CBDCs, domestic CBDCs first, and then doing some cross-border payments. But China, on the other hand, is about to do cross-border payments on Hong Kong. So in terms of CBDCs, they're telling people CBDCs will be coming out in 2028. In reality, they're launching this year in very small amounts as test runs, but with real payments, with real people. So, the next news to go from tonight's live show is, interesting enough, about Australia. The major cryptocurrency step from the National Bank of Australia, the major cryptocurrency step from the National Bank of Australia is about what we'll go through next on this live show. Before we go through that, inside the comment section first, the IMF is so corrupt. Yep, definitely. They are just bullying everybody to go inside CBDC, pretty much. Yep. Just to be clear, Miles, you're an amazing person. I appreciate everything you say. God bless you and good night. Respect. Ripple, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Thanks so much for the kind words as well. I'll see you tomorrow, same time as usual, Ripple. Now, the major cryptocurrency step from the National Bank of Australia, the NAB Ventures, the venture arm of National Australian Bank, NAB, has made a strategic investment in Zodiac Custody. So, as I was, talking about Ripple, Bank of International Settlements, and so on, one crypto project doing CBDC platform, and so on, the National Bank of Australia, has announced that they've just, essentially expanded, their partnership with Zodiac Custody. Now, Zodiac Custody is Standard Chartered Bank, and Zodiac Custody and Standard Chartered Bank are partners with Metico. And obviously Metico is owned by Ripple. Now some people would argue ironically, some people would argue till this day that is Metico and it has nothing to do with Ripple, even though Ripple owns Metico. And to those morons, I always try to simplify things for them inside the corporate sector. And for those morons, I will always, I could use this, for example. Volkswagen owns Audi. Now, you could say that's Volkswagen and that's Audi. Two different companies. However, there are Volkswagen parts in Audi. Volkswagen gets to decide on Audi's budget for their next hypercar coming up and so on. Audi's partners are also owned by whatever Audi owns as the next company that they own is now owned by Volkswagen. That's just how it works inside the corporate sector. Volkswagen owns Audi. Audi owns Lamborghini. Who owns Lamborghini now? Is it Audi or is it Volkswagen? So I always try to break it down for morons who will go, that's Metico, that's Ripple, they're two companies, they're different. Yes, one company owns the other one. So that company's partners are now that company's partners also. It's basically like common sense at this point. So, after explaining that, for anybody that's still confused till this day, that's Metico, that's Ripple, two different things. Not really. It's never been like that inside the corporate sector. NAB Ventures, the Australian bank, has been a strategic investment in Zodiac Custody, which is a Ripple partner, a platform that provides institution-level custody of cryptocurrencies and digital assets. The platform is also supported by major financial institutions such as Standard Chartered Bank, a Ripple partner, Northern Trust, a Ripple partner, SBI Holdings, a Ripple partner. The investment from NAB Ventures of an undisclosed amount, so the National Bank of Australia has decided not to disclose how much they invested. The move has come as a time when banks and other financial institutions are increasingly embracing the concept of cryptocurrency custody. You want to know something interesting? IBM, Ripple, and Metico essentially came together and built a institutional grade self custody last year. They started developing on it. By this year, it's pretty much done. It's finished. It's ready to go. And that's what the Australian bank and other banks want to have access to inside the corporate sector now. A institutional grade self custody wallet, which has been designed by Ripple, Metico, and IBM. So, embracing the concept of cryptocurrencies custody and often opting for third party services that manage cryptographic keys and explore use cases related to trading, tokenization, and more. NAB Ventures' investment in Zodia was based on a number of factors, including their innovative approach, enterprise level security, and strong work with regulators, said NAB Ventures' managing director. And additionally, Zodia Custody is positioning itself as a preferred custodian for applicants of digital assets ETFs waiting approval from the ASX. So this particular Australian bank, the NAB, the National Bank of Australia, this particular bank has ironically expanded partnership inside the crypto sector with Zodia Custody, which is a Ripple partner, Standard Chartered Bank, which is a Ripple partner, Northern Line, which is a Ripple partner, SBI Holdings, which is a Ripple partner. You could say coincidence, but there's no coincidence inside the corporate sector. It's just coordinated. Corporates don't do coincidence. Corporates do coordinated movements. That's why corporates will always be wealthy, especially big corporates like Standard Chartered Bank or the NAB Bank in Australia. They don't do, coincidental movements. If they did do coincidental movements, that bank would be bankrupt, and so would Standard Chartered Bank. They do coordinated movements, hence why they're always standing strong. So, partnering with those particular partners out of the millions of companies inside the crypto sector, there's a reason why they partner with those ones. Now, Circle USDC is the next news we're going to go from tonight's live show. But this perspective is coming from Circle's CEO, essentially. Before we go through that, let's go to the comment section first. Hello, Mouse. Scott, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? I'm much better and informed crypto investor now that you share stuff with our family group. Let's go, Scott. Thanks for all you do daily for our family group. Scott, thanks so much for the kind words. Just to be clear for everyone, Miles, the NAB, National Australia Bank, is just one of the big four banks here. Yep, it's not our national bank as such. A bit like Lloyd's Bank or Barclays Bank. So quite a big bank, but just not a national bank. Our four banks are Commonwealth Bank, which is also a Ripple partner, ironically. Australia and New Zealand Bank, also a Ripple partner. Westpac Bank Group, and National Australian Bank, NAB. Thank you for that, Shelley, for the update. But yeah, it's one of the banks, is basically what I said as well. But Shelley, I appreciate the breakdown of all the banks in Australia regarding the four big banks: Commonwealth Bank, Australia, New Zealand Bank, Westpac Bank, and the National Australian Bank. And the other breakdown as well regarding the four banks here is just our national banks, such as a bit like Lloyd's Bank or Barclays Bank. Thank you for the breakdown, Shelley. Now, Circle. I appreciate that a lot, actually. Circle's USDC. CEO says that stablecoins will hit a 10% of global currency by 2025. Jeremy Lai, the CEO of Circular Internet Financial Ltd. And creator of the USDC stablecoin, recently expressed his positive outlook on crypto, particularly stablecoins. He expressed his continued belief in the positive outlook for the ecologically in his extensive piece. He assessed the latest advancements made in the crypto markets. During this period, he investigated technological progressions in the ecosystem, such as Bitcoin. The founder of Circle observed that stablecoins have gained prominence in the financial systems because to their increasing adoption and scalabilities. He sourced that stablecoins have propelled the global use of digital currencies. As a result of their utilization, an increasing number of individuals are participating in the on-chain economy, thereby enabling the provision of banking services to those who were previously excluded from the traditional banking system. Stablecoins facilitate cross-border commerce and reduce the expenses associated with the remittances. This digital money is legally recognized and widely adapted in numerous nations, experiencing rapid growth, and he further elaborated on his previous associations by stating that stablecoins would attain the status of universally accepted legal cash by the year of 2025. From this standpoint, stablecoins might constitute approximately 10% of the worldwide currency. Alari is very confident that his forecast will be realized within a span of 10 years. This significant achievement thus far installed regarding the optimism in his regards to potentials for further progress in the next decade. So in his perspective, the CEO of Circle's perspective, stablecoins will be 10% of the total currencies spinning around the world. 10% of the total currency spinning around the world will be in stablecoins by 2025. As a bold prediction to make, is he telling the truth? Most likely, yes. It's definitely telling the truth. I'll be honest with you. And the way stablecoins are growing in terms of actual people using stablecoins or bots using stablecoins, because that was according to a study test from MasterCard. 90% of payments that happen on stablecoins are just bots. 10% actual human beings. And the only reason MasterCard even did a study test on stablecoins is because the news was keep on coming out. Stablecoins are processing more volume than MasterCard. USDT is processing more volume than MasterCard. So MasterCard decided to take matters into their own hands and do a study test. And they looked into how much of the transactions are actually real people. And it turns out 90% of the transactions that happen on USDT, 90% are all bots. 10% are actual humans doing transactions. And the MasterCard only most likely did this study test out of spite because they got fed up with the news keep on saying USDT is doing more volume than MasterCard and so on and so on and so on. So they decided to venture out into their own study test and find out that 90% of stablecoin transactions in terms of USDT and so on are just bots. 10% is actual real people. Now, whereas MasterCard transactions are all real people, there's no bots in MasterCard transactions. Terraform Labs. So remember me talking about a few news back where we were talking about politics, corruption, and crypto projects. We'll talk about how Gary Gensler has, basically shot himself in the foot regarding Ethereum situation and so on, the corruption part of that. So, and I said we're going to get to a news article where I'm going to be sharing with you regarding corruption and politics. Now, this particular news is quite interesting because it shows you how corruption in terms of politics silently happens in the background. And it involves Terraform Labs and a particular president. Sorry, Prime Minister. Before we go through this, let's go to the comment section first. Miles, my mentor and friend, the GOAT, Scott. Thank you so much for the kind words, brother. CMF, the best family group on social media platforms. Let's go. Facts. Now, Terraform Labs. So this is the story of politics, corruption, and crypto. Terraform Labs, early investor, unveiling the Montenegro Prime Minister. So for a very long period of time, Do Kwon fled Singapore and decided to live in Montenegro. Now, in Montenegro, the Prime Minister was very lenient on Do Kwon. The US tried to extradite Do Kwon to the US, but it could never happen. The US tried so many times to get Do Kwon to the United States, but they didn't let it happen. Now here's the corruption part of why sometimes having that political spectrum works out for you. Regarding Ethereum as well, that political card for Ethereum worked out very well. Since 2023, I've said Ethereum has that political situation going forwards, which shows when the SEC dropped all cases against them, ironically. So, Terraform Labs, early investor, unveiling the Montenegro Prime Minister. In the rapidly evolving world of cryptocurrencies, every piece of news can significantly impact market trends and investor confidence. Recently, the spotlight has turned to Terraform Labs, a notable player in the blockchain scene, for a revelation that is set to redefine its narrative. Surprisingly, the Montenegrin Prime Minister has been unveiled as an early investor in Terraform Labs, adding a new political dimension to its story. So, Dokon, Terraform Labs, Luna. Luna goes downhill, sideways completely. It goes crashing down. Everybody loses millions of dollars. The market gets damaged by billions of dollars. Dokon escapes essentially Singapore and goes to Montenegro. And then the US tried to extradite him to the US. Montenegro, the judges were saying, no, you can't move him from here. South Korea tried to extradite him to South Korea. They said, no, you can't move him. Everybody tried to, extradite Do Kwon to their own jurisdictions to, make him responsible for what he did to the market space. But for some oddly reason, Montenegro didn't let any country extradite this man. And now it comes out of why Montenegro didn't extradite this man to any country, and why all the judges were saying, no, you can't extradite him. It was because the Prime Minister of Montenegro was an early investor and still is in Luna. The Prime Minister of this country has a hand in Luna. This is the reason why nobody was able to extradite Do Kwon, and why every judge, no matter if the SEC lawyers tried their best, or any lawyers from any government tried their best, all the judges in Montenegro said, no, you can't extradite them. It's because the Prime Minister of this country was involved. So, this connection not only highlights the ambitious growth trajectory of Terraform Labs projects, but also brings to light the potential influence of political figures in the cryptocurrency domain. Nobody knew this Prime Minister was involved in Terraform Labs until now. As we delve deeper into this intriguing development, we will explore the rise of Terraform Labs and the Prime Minister's involvement, and the broader implications for both the Terraform Labs blockchain and the entire cryptocurrency industry. Political endorsements and investments. I've said this for the longest time. Politics goes a long way in terms of cryptocurrencies, and Ethereum played that political card very nicely right at the beginning. Some people will get that. The Prime Minister's investments in Terraform Labs project indicates a significant level of trust and belief in the potential of Terraform Labs technology. It's not just a financial endorsement, it offers political backings that can potentially propel Terraform Labs blockchain into mainstream adoption. Quote, as an early investor, the Prime Minister's involvement lends unprecedented political credibility to our mission, stated representative from Terraform Labs. However, this political connection is not without its share of controversies. Various analysts have debated the implications of such a high-level political endorsement in the crypto sector. These discussions often revolve around ethical considerations and the potential for conflicts of interest. The ripple effect. The Prime Minister's, nice use of word there, the ripple effect. The Prime Minister's investment creates a ripple effect that influences both the Terraform Labs crypto projects and the broader blockchain and cryptocurrency industry. A political endorsement can open doors to regulatory conversations and influence policymaking favorably towards blockchain innovation. Or sometimes these political doors that you open can be favorably to the particular crypto project. That happens sometime as well. Ethereum. Overall, the Prime Minister's investment underscores the growing insertion of politics and technology in the shaping future of digital economy. This noteworthy development is bound to infuse the Terraform Labs blockchain narrative with both opportunities and challenges, highlighting the complex dynamics of political investments in emerging technologies, impact of political influence on Terraform Labs growth. The revelation of the Montenegrin Prime Minister as an early investment in Terraform Labs crypto project has brought a unique political dimension to the firm's growth narrative. This potential backing can have both positive and negative impacts on the company's trajectory and the broader Terraform Labs blockchain ecosystem. Positive impacts: increased credibility. Political endorsements can elevate public trust in Terraform Labs technology, enhancing its reputation within the industry. Regulatory support: with the Prime Minister's backing, Terraform Labs projects many may benefit from favorable legislations, streamlined approvals, and potentially fewer regulatory hurdles. When you have a Prime Minister backing your project, obviously you're going to be jumping through any hoop, is what it's basically trying to say. International partnerships. Political connections can open doors to collaborations with other governments. Obviously, when you have one prime minister in your back pocket, you can get 10 more prime ministers in your back pockets. And international organizations, facilitating faster global expansion and implementation of Terraform Labs. The negative impacts: regulatory scrutiny. Increased attention from political sphere may attract more rigorous regulatory scrutiny, posing challenges for the company. Market perception. Alignments with political figures could polarize public opinion and impact investor confidence, which in turn could affect the market performance. Ethical questions. The intertwining of politics and finance may raise ethical concerns, leading to potentially unfavorable media coverage that might influence public investors and perceptions. I will add another negative. When you have politicians in your back pocket, or in this case, a prime minister in your back pocket, you can target your competitors. Some people will get that. For some people, it will just go over their heads. Because when you do have a prime minister in your back pocket, or many prime ministers in your back pocket, you can target your competitors inside the crypto space. Opportunities for public and private partnerships. The Prime Minister's involvement opens doors for more public and private partnerships, which could drive forward innovative projects and pave the way for collaborations solutions in the blockchain space. A potential synergy between governance and technology could accelerate the investments and streamline implementations. So, till now, not a single soul knew that the Montenegrin Prime Minister is behind Terraform Labs, behind Do Kwon. Every government wanted to get their hands on Do Kwon for what he caused on the market space. But every single judge in Montenegro said no to the US SEC lawyers, to South Korea's lawyers, to Singapore's lawyers, to Hong Kong's lawyers. Every single judge said no. You can't extradite this man. This is how it works in terms of politics. So not a single soul knew that Terraform Labs has essentially a prime minister in their back pocket. Do Kwon has a prime minister in his back pocket. Now, could this prime minister somewhere down the road essentially, throw Do Kwon under the bus? Yes, it's politics. Everybody throws everybody under the bus in politics. But he's probably profiting. That's why he's not throwing him under the bus. Who knows? The prime minister of, essentially Montenegro could have benefited from Luna going sideways as well. And most likely he did. Because picture it like this. This man, the Prime Minister of Montenegro, was an early investor in Luna. A very, very early investor in Luna. Luna was doing great. Luna was so priced high. Luna goes crashing downhill. Do Kwon runs to this man's country. And for some oddly reason, even though this man was an early investor, he could have lost millions, but he supported Do Kwon, which just raises another question of, was the Prime Minister of Montenegro involved in the Terraform Labs downhill situation? Because if this man was an early investor in Luna does well, Luna crashes, this man would have lost millions. So he would be angry at Do Kwon. But instead, this man is protecting Do Kwon. Which honestly begs the question of, did the Prime Minister of Montenegro benefit from the Luna crash? Is that why he's benefiting? Is that why he's protecting Do Kwon? Is that why he's not letting any judges take Do Kwon, extradite him? Because you would only protect someone you benefited from. Why would you protect someone you lost millions of dollars to? That does raise millions of questions. But it also goes back to the whole political sphere. I'm telling you right now, there are a lot more crypto projects. I'll bet my life on it that there are a lot more crypto projects that have deep politicians in their pockets, or prime ministers in their pockets, or in some cases even presidents, depending on the country. There are multiple crypto projects out there that have politicians, prime ministers, and presidents in their pockets. Pictured like this: Luna had the prime minister in their pockets. Luna. Out of all crypto projects, Luna, Terraform Labs, had the prime minister in his pockets. And you could presume Ethereum doesn't have a prime minister or two, or a president, depending on jurisdictions, in their pockets. AVAX, or so on and so on. Not Solana. They're not that big yet. Ethereum, or, because Solana is very new on the whole basis of going up. But regarding Ethereum, has been in the game for a long time. Ripple been in the game for a long time. AVAX been in the game for a long time, is what I'm trying to get to. So if Terraform Labs and Luna, I was saying Terraform Labs, Luna had a prime minister in their back pocket, and probably a lot more prime ministers through this partnership, you could assume Ethereum has a couple in their back pocket as well. And you can also assume that Ethereum's deep tie links go very far, with the SEC announcing they're dropping the entire charges, basically. Even though the SEC was arguing that, staking, securities, what happened to all of that? This was the quickest open case and closed case the SEC's ever done. They opened the case, sent a Wells notice, and said, we're dropping all charges. So it begs the question of, if Terraform Labs had the Prime Minister of Montenegro in their back pocket, who the hell is backing Ethereum in terms of politics? Because whoever the person is, or the group or entities is backing Ethereum in terms of politics, they are some powerful people for the SEC to send a Wells notice, open the case, argue that staking is bad and staking is, security, and then tell everybody, BlackRock, 21 shares, Hashdex, everybody that's filing for Ethereum ETF, to refile and remove the staking part. For after all of that, for them to just go, nope, we're dropping all charges. So honestly, it begs the question of, who the hell is backing Ethereum in terms of politics? Because it was the fastest case that the SEC has opened, argued it for just a little bit, and then closed it. He said, nope, forget about it. Honestly, Luna had the prime minister in their pocket. I'll bet my life that Ethereum has a much more high-profile politician in their back pockets, and even some government entities. Is that bad or good? Well, good for Ethereum. It stabilized their position. But if Ethereum ever, even once, thinks about, not listening to these politicians, then things can end very bad for Ethereum. So as long as Ethereum listens to these politicians, whoever's controlling them, and abides by their, words, Ethereum will do very well. But if Ethereum ever gets too big for its own shoes and the co-founders decide to venture out by themselves, that will be the downfall of Ethereum, because those politicians or prime ministers or presidents won't be very happy. Politics is a ruthless game. If you don't listen to the politics that they tell you to listen to, they will replace you. I mean, they replaced Donald Trump, and he was the president of the United States. Politics is a very ruthless game. If you don't listen to them, once you get integrated into that circle, you have to say yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And the moment you stop saying yes, sir, yes, ma'am, because you think you're too big for your own shoes, is pretty much where everything goes downhill. So as long as Ethereum, whoever they have in their back pockets, or whoever they, in that contact with, keeps on listening to them and abiding by whatever they say, Ethereum will do very well. Ethereum will climb the ladder, do incredibly well. But the moment they decide to venture out by themselves is what's going to be causing their downfall. We've seen it happen many times. Not in terms of also in crypto projects, but in general in the corporate sector. Even in crypto projects, actually. CZ, incredible person, incredibly intelligent, incredibly wealthy. He got too big for his own shoes as well. That backfired very quickly when he tried to go against the EU government in terms of, the EU government tells you remove privacy coins. Every exchange goes, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. CZ goes, I'll think about it, to the EU government. And then about 2 months later, Binance is paying $4 billion fine, and CZ is jobless. It's not just about money. Once you get integrated somehow into that circle, it's yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You don't say yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, they will take away everything they gave you. Now, or sometimes even replace you and carried on in terms of Binance. The CEO of Binance is a World Economic Forum member. And so is Binance US, also a World Economic Forum member. Now, here's some good news to end the live show on. Circle's CEO also gave another perspective. So Circle's CEO gave another perspective as well, Jeremy. He says that he's insanely bullish on crypto right now. A lot of people are saying, why the market is so volatile, why the market is down. I'm going to wait for the next bull run. What next bull run? We're still in the bull run. It's just very manipulated because of 937 corporations inside of the sector right now. So, Circle's co-founder, CEO Jeremy, did another interview as well. And he said that he's insanely bullish in his beliefs that crypto is in the very early stages of adoption. I've said this for a while now. We're going into utility. The main purpose of cryptocurrencies was utility. Crypto projects that have utility are going to get slowly implemented now. So Jeremy, the CEO of Circle, USDC stablecoin, is insanely bullish in his own words. And he's saying that in his own beliefs, that crypto is basically at the stages of adoption right now in terms of the corporate sector and governments and regulations, which I've been explaining that to everyone. Circle is the company behind the world's second largest stablecoin by market cap, USDC. And Jeremy, who entered the crypto space in the early days of Bitcoin, says that in all the years he has been inside the crypto space, this is the time he is most optimistic about its future. This man has been obviously inside the crypto space since the early days of Bitcoin. This CEO has been inside the crypto space since the early days of Bitcoin. So he's went through everything in terms of the crypto cycles. And he's came out and said, now, this year, this is the time that he is the most optimistic about this future, about the cryptocurrency futures. This particular year is where he's insanely bullish. He said, I've been building Circle for over 11 years, and at no time have I been more optimistic than right now. He said this via X post. He said, I also believe that the overwhelming majority of people have an extremely narrow and limited understanding of what's about to unfold. And that's super bullish too. What he means by that is the majority of the retail section is looking for the next camel token. You see, there was a time inside the crypto sector where everybody cared about utility, inside the retail section, where crypto was all about the retail section. Everybody cared about utility and so on. Everybody saw the purpose of cryptocurrencies. But somewhere over time, everybody inside the retail section, the majority of people inside the retail section, forgot about the purpose of cryptocurrencies. And they just went to the next cute animal token there is. Especially in the year, which is this year, when the world is shifting into a digital era, which means utility projects, the main purpose of cryptocurrencies, are getting slowly drafted and implemented. All of those contracts you were hearing in 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, this company partners with this crypto project, Ripple partners with that company, so on and so on and so on. All those years they've been building, and we're getting to a stage of releases happening. We get to a stage of CBDC payments happening, domestic payments happening in terms of, or cross-border payments happening, or tokenization happening. All those contracts that happened years ago are slowly getting implemented. And at this particular moment in time, where we have more corporates than ever before, more ETFs than ever before, more ETPs than ever before, more regulations than ever before, more contracts than ever before, more money transmitter licenses than ever before, more banks inside the crypto sector than ever before. The retail section is going, oh, I want to go for the next camel token. I mean, there's a reason the corporate sector is always 10 steps ahead. Because while they're coming in for the main purpose of cryptocurrencies, which was utility this year, the retail section is going, ooh, I'm trying to look for the next camel token. I mean, what are you supposed to say to that? And they wonder why the retail section is always behind. So this is what it means by, and the majority of people have an extremely narrow and limited understanding of what's about to unfold next. And that's why he's even more bullish. He said, according to the Circle CEO, his perspectives on the crypto market draws on his experience and knowledge. Over 35 years of watching the adoption cycles of the internet technology. It's been a wave after wave of growth, with unrelenting march of open networks, open protocols, and open software, he noted. He says that he's seen the internet transform societies and the economy, enabling major shifts from global industries and improving utility for humanity. The collective contribution of open IP to this ongoing internet revelation actually appears to be accelerating. And crypto seems like it's on the cusp of cultivating society and the economy forward in a tremendously powerful new ways. The Circle co-founder explained. Crypto in 10 years, past and future. He says that crypto continues to grow since bursting onto the scene as the next infrastructure layer of the internet more than a decade ago. Crypto introduced a layer of trust for the internet. Jeremy noted, adding that Bitcoin opened up the space for a ton of incredibly sharp technical progress includes the evolution of blockchain infrastructure, data availability, security, and privacy. There is a massive breakthroughs in zero-knowledge technology and fully encryption, among other developments. Digital assets are now generally accepted, unlike the days of extreme hostility from banks, regulators, and mainstream media's focus on things like darknet markets, which is true. What he just said right now, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, digital assets are now genuinely more accepted, unlike the days of extreme hostility from banks, regulators, mainstreams, medias, and so on. Because we have more banks inside the crypto sector than ever before, more corporates, more contracts, more regulations, more of everything from the corporate sector. This is why he's extremely bullish. And this is why he's saying most people won't see it coming, which is utility. Most people won't see it coming. Regulatory clarity is also crucial development. With the world's largest asset manager firms bringing products and services on chain, regulatory clarity is also a crucial development, which it is. I've always said regulations need to be there, which they're coming this year. With the world's largest asset managers bringing products and services on chain, utility. Meanwhile, global payment giants are also now tapping into crypto, and stablecoins have grown into cryptocurrencies. And it's insanely bullish when you look at where blockchain and crypto could be in the next 10 years as well. For smart contracts, fourth generation blockchains, on chain organizations, and stablecoins. All of this is achievable over the next plus 10 years, starting now and onwards. The time goes by fast, but when you zoom out and look at how much has been accomplished and how that the setups, everything's been coordinated in a move from the corporate sector. Everything's been coordinated. The setups that are happening for the future. It's hard to insanely be, it's hard not to insanely optimistic right now and bullish, is what the CEO of Circle said, concluded. Right now, the CEO of Circle made a speech and he said he's incredibly, essentially bullish, increasingly bullish on what's about to happen next this year. He said most people won't see it coming. He said right now is when I'm most insanely bullish. Right now, this year, is most insanely bullish. And he said most people won't see it coming. He said we have more corporates, more banks inside the crypto sector. Things that I've been saying for a while now. So, if you're thinking, you're thinking to yourself, oh, the market is down, oh, the run is over, the bull run's over, or so on and so on. It's nowhere near over. It's getting warmed up. More corporates than ever before, more banks than ever before, more regulations than ever before, more licensing than ever before, more contracts than ever before, more acquisition than ever before, right now, this year. More ETPs than ever before, more ETFs than ever before, more CBDCs than ever before. So we're nowhere near done. For all the people that will think to themselves, oh, we're done for now, until next year, no. We're nowhere near done. This year is going to be absolutely incredible still. So, for ended on a good note, when we get to the live show. Now, before, there we go. Let's go inside the comment section first. Thanks for the news and updates. Peg, no problem anytime. Miles, will you issue a certificate for all the knowledge as I feel very pro with all the info? Let's go with XRP. Thanks for the kind words. Smells of insider trading to me, Miles, regarding the Luna situation, Ethereum situation. Yep. Nice block. My opinion is Putin behind ETH. Interesting. I'm investing in ETH. Please be a little positive about ETH. No, I mean, I said, ETH will do great as long as it listens, which most likely it will. You've seen Vitalik Buterin. Does Vitalik Buterin look like the type of person to go against, orders? Tether has political connections for sure. They got distracted by easy, quick money stories. What are your thoughts on Hulu and Hulu Chain Hot? Good project. Good night, Miles, and thank you for your support. Mike, see you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Miles and the CMF. Miles, the CMF is so lucky to have you because what I see is a blueprint unveiling, which was put together at least 10 years ago with the World Economic Forum, the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements, and you are able to foresee what's coming. Thank you. Free and forever, thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for that, honestly, for the statement you just made, which is exactly what it is. I could see it coming from 10 miles down the road, or in this case, 10 years down the road in the past of what they set up. Definitely just getting warmed up for the bull run. Take care, Miles of CMF. Though. Ray, see you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. So, if you tuned in late on tonight's live show, went through quite a lot of news actually. We went through Circle CEO's perspective on this is the year to be in the market space. We went through the news of the corruption, essentially, of politics and crypto, and Terraform Labs prime minister situation. We went through Circle's perspective again on how 10% of payments around the world will be essentially stable coins by 2025. We talked about major cryptocurrency steps from Australia's NAB Bank. We talked about the CBDC and International Monetary Fund perspective new report that came out from the Middle East. We talked about Ripple's CLO uncovering the grey areas in the SEC U-turn on price. We talked about essentially Iran's CBDC role. We talked about Frankfurt Exchange, how they're introducing their first HBAR ETP. We talked about institutional investors eyeing blockchain tokenized commercial real estate from perspective of KPMG Canada. We talked about also Certec's situation with Kraken Exchange. Apparently, Kraken Exchange has the worst security possible. We talked about Pantoro Capital getting ready to invest $1 billion inside of crypto projects, AI crypto projects from Pantoro Capital, and they're also investing a ton. We talked about Paraguay cracking down on Bitcoin minings. We talked about former OpenAI executive opening his own company, essentially in terms of AI. We talked about the national US debt doing incredible numbers for itself again. We talked about the Bitcoin bank that's happening in El Salvador, some updates on the matter. We talked about the German government moving around Bitcoin wallet to wallet. We talked about FDUSD in terms of Binance as well. So those are all the topics that we covered on tonight's live show. If you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. I do this live show every single night. This is pretty much episode 92 of the CMF live show. So for 92 days back to back, I've pretty much been doing this live show. For 92 days back to back, I've been sharing everyone the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, regulations, politics, every single night, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. You can tune into this live show on X or on YouTube because it's showing on both of them right now, as always. So there's a 92 episode in right now, which is absolutely incredible. And I love what I do, which is helping people to have a better understanding of how things are actually operating. Good night, Miles. Thanks. Good night, everyone. Or if I see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Thanks, Miles, again. Scott, let's go. See you tomorrow, brother, sometimes usual. Do you know much about DCB? I have to take a look at that one. Good night. Or if I see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Thanks, Miles. It's a wonder you don't get a sore throat from all the talking. You've done a lot of news today. Much appreciated. So much happening. Let's go, Shelly. Shelly, no problem anytime. Miles, you are a top bloke and a decent human being. I'm so glad I found you over a year ago and joined the CMF. Let's go, Jason. Jason, thanks so much for the kind words. Thank you, CM. Good night. Rumi, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Freedom Forever. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Great live as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Jason. Also, by the way, everything I provide for 92 days I've been doing this live show. It's completely free of source. I don't charge any money. I don't even do donations, none of that stuff. But also, everything I offer is completely free of source. And I have a Telegram group for this live show as well. So this live show is called the CMF Live Show, stands for Crypto Mars Family. So we have a Telegram group as well, which is a CMF Telegram group. It's completely free. Everything I do is completely free of source. You can see the amazing people inside the Telegram group in the comment section right now. They're all on YouTube and X inside the comment section right now. So you can join these amazing people in the Telegram group as well. If you need a bit more assistance inside the crypto space and so on, everybody helps each other out inside the CMF for free. We are the only group where people actually help each other for free. I help people for free. They help people for free. Everybody just helps each other inside the CMF. So if you want to be surrounded by people like that inside the crypto space, people who care about you essentially, which is odd to say inside the crypto space, join the CMF. 92 days on top of TikTok. Yes. I've been doing this live show for more than half a year now. So more than a year and a half. Since 2023, I've been doing this live show. A year and a half, I've been doing this live show. We used to do on TikTok, but now we do on YouTube and X only. But yes, that's true. 92 days on top of all the TikTok lives as well, yes. But yeah, we have a Telegram group, and it's called the CMF Telegram. The link is on X, and the link is on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, in my portfolio. If you're watching this on X, The link is on my profile on X. Just click on the Linktree link and then click on CMF Telegram and join the Telegram. It's completely free. And everything I provide is completely free of source. You can ask everyone. For more than a year and a half, I haven't charged anyone a single penny. Good night, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. Let's go. See you tomorrow, sometimes usual, brother. Great live as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. 92 days on top of TikToks. Let's go, CZ. I'm a better investor because of your information and PDFs. Let's go, Scott. Yeah, I put PDFs sometimes inside the Telegram group as well, which are also free. Thanks, Miles. Scott, let's go on time. Miles is and has always been free. Facts. Have a wonderful, blessed evening, Miles and CMF. Stormy, thanks so much for the kind words, and I'll see you tomorrow, sometimes usual as well. Hope you have a blessed evening as well. Night and day to all CMF. Let's go, Shelly. I'm an OG and I've been here from the start. That's facts, Scott. Scott is definitely an OG of the CMF. He's been here for early days, since the early days. Can I still message you on TT? Yes, Susie. Why not? You can still message me. Anybody can direct message me still, and I always reply completely free. And I have a background essentially. If anybody's wondering why am I answering people's comments and who am I to be answering people's questions, I have a background in business, finance, tech, law, and cybersecurity. I also have a blockchain startup company. I have acquaintances around me from different platforms like Binance, acquaintances around me, MEXC acquaintances around me, people who started graph projects around me, people who are in the Flare developers around me, and so on. So I'm not just a guy that reads the news. I'm also actually inside of this blockchain sector. I'm building in the blockchain as well. But the background that I have in business, finance, tech, law, and cybersecurity helps a lot. I mean, 6:10 p.m. here in Las Vegas and catching up with the live show. Let's go, Leroy. Yep, Leroy always tunes in from Las Vegas. Let's go. 1 year for me. I've learned so much in that time. Can't put it into words. To be honest, changing lives. To be honest, life changing. Let's go, Shelly. Thanks so much for the kind words. Honestly, Hulu Chain thoughts. Good project. I recall reading the Los Angeles Times reporting about BTC when it was $200. Was missed opportunity from procrastination. And Shelly, thank you for the kind words, honestly. It's been an amazing journey with all of you. Honestly, everyone inside the CMF. Now, if you enjoy this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards, on X or on YouTube. And if you enjoyed this live show, drop a follow, drop a retweet, or even a like if you want to. Put a comment, put a thumbs up if you liked the live show in the comment section. A thumbs down if you didn't really like it. I will see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, I will see all of you tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Subbed. Let's go, Jeremy. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world.